Hey everyone, how you doing? Good to see you guys tonight. Got the OG shirt on. Hey Steve, how's it going? So, it's been a great day. Look at that, 14 people just like that. Good to see everybody. Hey Tom. Hey Sarah, good to see you. Thanks for the hit the thumbs on the way in. Appreciate it. Hey Kyle. Kyle from New Zealand is in the house, y'all. Good to see you. So, been a great day for me anyway. Texas Bee Supply placed their order today, so that was good. If you didn't see that on the live video for the swarm lure, so we'll be at, actually it's the Bee Supply now. 7 out of 9 made it through winter. Well, good deal. Hey Rockbridge, good to see you. We're just hanging out. Stacy, good to see you. Just hanging out tonight. Not a big agenda, just kind of talking about things that I'm doing right now. And then I did a couple of things. So first thing I did was made a walkaway split. Made a strong walkaway split. So hopefully that one brings the queen. And got... then what else did I do? I added yesterday to some those splits in the mediums that we did over the screen bottom board. I didn't see any queens walking around in there. So no Nightbot. Hey Eugene. And I like to communicate. That's why I got so many people with the blue wrench. They can squash trolls. Nightbot was killing it. And then I added a extra frame of eggs and larvae to those with some brood to try to help them out, and maybe they can get a queen. And then I did the insurance hive trap today that I did a couple lives on, with the swarm lure, and it's working good. It's working good. I couldn't ask for it to be working any better. Jeff Horchoff's video tomorrow is featuring my lure. So excited about that. A lot of good things happening, guys. I can't complain. I've also started working with somebody. I'm going to be offering some nukes. So if you want to pre-order some nukes, definitely reach out to me. I'll drop my email and just put in the title nukes. And how many you want, and I can get you the prices they'll be pretty reasonable. If you got a bunch of them that you're looking for, then definitely email me and I'll negotiate probably a better price, than you would have got just buying it regular. Obviously, I'm in South Carolina, so I'm not mailing them. But if you're ordering a lot of them, then we can definitely try to make some arrangements, as long as it's not like California for me. That doesn't make any sense. But, Georgia, North Carolina, something like that. Or if you want to come down, we can definitely make it. Yeah, no Nightbot, man. No Nightbot in here. So I'm glad everybody came in to hang out. I think Charlie might be coming in a minute. I don't know. I haven't dropped the link. That'd be the first thing, right? Got to drop the link. And so things are going good on the swarm lure front. Let me just drop the link. Let's talk bees, guys. Let's talk some bees and what's going on. Tonight, I want to try something different. Tonight is No Mite Thursday. We will not talk about mites at all. I don't care about oxalic acid or Apivar or Apigard or Hopguard, any of those. I'm sick of talking about mites. Everybody talks about mites. Done with it for right now. It's not time for that. It's time for getting ready for spring and what we're doing for spring. I mean, by now, if you follow YouTube, you've definitely saw everything. Damn you, Lee. We're definitely not going to talk about mites. Except for Lee being a smartass. But yeah, so that's it. So if you didn't catch, my pigs got out. Was able to get the small one home, George. The big one went to the great bacon factory in the sky, freezer camp for some of you guys. So she should be getting back in a couple of weeks in vacuum packs. And then by the time we came back from the processor, George was out and it was dark, and he hung around, and I gave him baked potato, and he was loving it. And then he disappeared. So I haven't seen him. He wasn't there when I got up this morning, and he wasn't there when I went outside before the stream. That's why I was a little bit later than I wanted to be on here. And so he's probably gone. Usually on Facebook, I'll get a post. Whose pig is this? Oh, it's mine. I'll come get him if I can catch him. And so that's where we're at. I am pigless at the moment. No George, no Porky. But we will have some mighty tasty ribs in a week or so. And there's that. And other than that, insurance hives, or swarm traps. I don't really call it a swarm trap if it's in my yard. It's more of it is a swarm trap, but I call it an insurance hive because I'm trying to ensure that mine don't swarm out of my yard, right? That's kind of the goal with that. So the link is up there. It's pinned to the top of the chat, guys. If anybody wants to jump in, Lee is doing date night, I guess, watching Yellowstone. He has to get his Kevin Costner fill. Well, you know what? That's funny you should say that, Michael, because after we dispatched her, I could have swore last night he was crying. He had a runny nose. I mean, serious. That's no joke. But I thought that's what was happening. But at any rate, nukes, as far as nukes, the tentative price is, if it's in your box, if you bring your nuke, $185. If you bring, if you want a box, then it's going to have to be 200 because I have to buy the boxes. I mean, that's what it is. And I have to get the nukes. So it's one of those things. So if you're going to buy multiples, then we can work something out and figure out a better price for you. But it's kind of a new development from today. So if you're looking for nukes, I should have nukes the beginning of April ready to go, maybe beginning to mid-April. And if that's something you want, you might be able to get them a little bit quicker getting them from me than you can get them if you're north of me. So I watched 1923. It's good as well. But come on, guys, don't be shy. Hit the link. Let's go. Charlie, put down the popcorn. Come on in. And we're going to get this thing going. Otherwise, it could be a very defeatingly short stream tonight. The Last of Us. The 1883 was good, though. Do I deliver to Ohio? That's quite a fur piece. Hey, if the number's right, you send me a number. I'll make a trip. It's only 12 hours. It's only 12 hours to like Akron from here. So we might can make something happen. Or we could meet or something. We could figure it out. Okay, great, Tim. And does she want to build a snowman? Does she want to go outside? Anyway, that's my impersonation of Frozen. But I did get the 7/8 deep boxes that I ordered from Better Be, and it looks like they're going to line up pretty good width-wise. There's a little bit of disparity depth-wise in the box, but it shouldn't be too bad. And the cold doesn't bother her anyway. That's funny. So it's, hey, Wiz and Hunt, good to see you. And things are, definitely looking pretty good right now. So probably going to use the Chestnut Grove as the staging yard for the nukes when they come. I've ordered 20 as a start, and whatever doesn't sell out of that, I guess I'll be owning. But yeah, definitely trying to at least sell 20, and that'll make it a pretty good start to selling nukes. But they are Florida nukes with breeder stock queens, so it should be pretty good. And let me see. So today it was 79 degrees at the high today here. What was it for you guys? I know probably Tim was probably warm. I'm sure Lee was warm and Brad was warm. And hey, Brad, if I missed you, I saw you, but I forgot, might have not said anything. And I don't have the yabba dabba do button, so it should be good. If Brad, come on in, man. All right, y'all trying to make a short stream tonight. Hey, Keith, good to see you, brother. Let me see. Trying to make sure I don't have anything. I got my phone muted. 58 in Indiana. 67-35 tonight. Yeah, see, we're getting some of that too. Damn, what'd I do with my bottle of repellent? It actually, the funny thing was, I did it on that colony. I was doing the video, so I did it on the colony, and I definitely noticed the bees moved down after a few minutes, right? So when I took it off and then basically started to do a live, and then when I did the live, it's like maybe I wasn't leaving it on there long enough. Maybe it wasn't hot enough. I don't know. Maybe it's the gap on the fume board. So I'm going to try a couple different ways. A lot of people don't even use a fume board. They'll just use like a an old T-shirt or something, right? Spray it and set it on top, and then force the bees down that way. 42. No. So, if you're using, well, I guess technically it could, but because, yeah, it could. But you know what? I never even asked that question, and they use that setup in Canada like constantly. So I'll have to put the migratory. And see if see how it works, but it shouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't think it would, or maybe a little bit. I don't know, because where those, yeah, you would think the covers that would go down in there. It's a good question. I didn't ask that question. I just saw that Ian uses it, Brad uses it, and James uses it, and I didn't ever think to ask about water coming in. And maybe there's a trick, something they do to keep it out. Hey, Brian, come on in, brother. I talked to your boy today, Jose. He's busy. Make a custom long migratory cover. That might be a thing too. Of course, then you'd have all the hives open at the same time. So that is a good question, though. I did not approach that subject. Phil! Hey, Phil, good to see you. So, this is kind of crazy, man. I think this is the longest I've had a link up without somebody popping in. And speak of the devil. Tim and Hannah, everybody. How y'all doing? Hannah, don't look so excited to be here, Hannah.
I am, Bob. I really am.
Like, really alive again?
I'm trying to read the comments and listen to the show, and my brain's not firing enough to do both right now.
Fred Dunn talked to my third graders yesterday. Oh, awesome. Brian here. I'm trying to keep up with the comments since Lee is watching Yellowstone instead of helping a brother out tonight. See, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Lee, because he used to only be available for my streams. Now he's available for everybody's streams, and my streams he's not available anymore. We're gonna have to have a conversation.
He's setting up them date nights.
Yeah, date nights now during live stream time. Rock and roll gun line, he said. Phil's on here. Wait, man, he ain't even home yet, man. You got plenty of time. She don't even get off to 8 o'clock. You got 30 minutes. I'm just picking on them. So what you guys doing? Don't, Lord have mercy, don't say treating for mites.
We've never traded for mites.
You have never?
No, we probably never traded for mites. I mean, I'll go ruffle some feathers. But
I mean, we don't have, we've never seen mites on our bees. We fight the beetles so much more than the mites down here.
Not saying you ain't gonna have
ate the mites. That'd be great.
Oh, that would be cool.
What's up, Charlie?
Hey, I got everything set now. All right. Been out in the bee yard today a little bit. Put some pollen patties in, got rid of old pollen patties that I had. And hopefully they'll eat them up.
Now, were they dried out pollen patties, or are you talking about old as in old stock you had in the refrigerator?
I had old stock in the freezer, let them fall out and all that. So it was Man Lake Ultra Big. Wanted to get rid of that. Checked, I went through 15 nukes and 2 10 framers, and the 15, there was a couple of them there. It's getting pretty dry, and I fed them to the point where they wouldn't take any more fluid in the fall. So I just got done. I had some fondant left over, which I hate. And I just got done cutting that up and putting it on wax paper and getting it ready to take it out there. Hopefully tomorrow and get it in the hives. Give them a little something to munch on.
Well, today it was 79 here today.
It might have been 50, 52, maybe something like that.
Just warm enough for them to get out and take a poop and go back.
Well, when I was out there, it was like 48 or something of that nature, and they weren't doing much of anything, which was fine. I just put the smoke to them and got them to kind of go down. They weren't too feisty, I'll say, when I opened them up. So got that far. At least I got that to that point as far as, brood rearing. There was, let's see, was it today? Yesterday, it was bright and sunny and 55, close to 60. I did put a pollen bucket out there to see what was going on. They never touched it. I watched
natural pollen out there then.
Yeah, I went and looked at the entrance of the hives. A couple of them just kind of watched, and then you could start seeing some kind of a pale white or yellow coming in. So I said, okay, that pretty much tells the tale right there, which is fine. I don't know whether it's skunk cabbage or just what it is, but
hey, Fox Plus. Yeah, the mine. I mean, it's like, I mean, maybe some people haven't tried it, but when you put out that pollen feeder, if they hit it, you can definitely tell when they get any natural pollen. It's like they just stop immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And same thing with feed. If you put feed out, if there's any natural nectar out there, done.
Well, so, I have one maple tree. There must be two different styles of maples here. And one out here, it's got some buds, but I don't think they've popped yet. And then there's another maple here that hasn't done anything. So,
and that's the same thing that we got going on here. Some of the maples there's some blooms out there a little bit, but I don't see really that much, like as far as my maple trees and stuff like that. But I don't see dandelions yet. I don't see clover yet. I don't see we got red clover that pops up everywhere. I don't see any of that yet.
Yeah, for us here, we got another month.
And but they are packing it in there. So
I mean, the hives are plenty. I mean, they got good population and all that. I was just really shocked that they ate a lot of. I mean, some of them I pulled some frames up just to check the stores, and they have a patch here and a patch there of honey and some nectar, open nectar, and then I had one it was a nuke. It was pretty much. It had a little bit of food in there, and the rest of it was just dry. I kind of feel like I was going to put a high feeder on, pour the sugar water to them, but I think
I did that with a few of my colonies. My little Lyson nukes, I went ahead and dropped those feeders on the top and poured a little bit in there for them. And a couple of my stronger colonies that may not be able to get enough from what's out there right now, put a frame feeder in a couple of those, and just letting them get it if they need it, right? That's the main thing for me right now. I did make a walk-away split today. Sorry about the alarm. But one of my colonies was pretty packed, and I had put a deep box on it last week and put some old brood comb in there, and they came up and started laying in there. So today I harvested those 3 frames of cat brood and larva that they had up there, moved it to a nuke with the bees on it, and then shipped 2 more frames of bees in there. So they got plenty of bee coverage on it, and hopefully they will create a queen on that within the next couple days. And it's supposed to rain this weekend, so they won't have to worry about foraging. They got food and everything, and we'll
But
see.
you got some eggs in there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So if they get to work, they should have everything they need.
Or like you said, I'm thinking, I said, man, it's awful early to do that. But then you're telling me it's 70 degrees down there.
79 today.
79, 80 degrees. Let's call it.
Yep. And I'm also I've been contemplating, I've got those deeps that have the medium on them, right? Pulling those hives apart, shaking the bees down in the bottom, make sure the queen's in the bottom, throw that queen excluder on there, put that medium back on so those bees will hatch out of there and move back down where she can't lay that box back up. And that way, if they need it for honey super, they can come up and fill it up. Or I can just pull it off, right? Condense them down, let them blow up the bottom box. And then when the flow starts, just start chucking boxes on them. So just trying to make some.
All right. So you got a deep and a medium is what you.
Yes. Some of my colonies still have like the ones that I did the vertical split on, they still have a deep and a medium with the double screen board in between them. So it's deep, medium, double screen board, then the medium on top, right? That had the split where she was laying. So now it's take those off, shake the bees down on the bottom section, shake the bees in the bottom down to the bottom box, put the bee excluder on, let the nurse bees come back up and cover that brood. And then she can only lay in that bottom box, right? The deep box, and get them back to a single.
So you're going to single brood chamber management.
So I can get them back to my single brood chamber management. I know you like it.
I can send you a link to a conference this weekend, and Rapapsy's going to talk about single brood chamber management.
So that's
it's the way to go if you want to double your honey production.
Well, I'm trying to keep them kind of at teeter-tottering at that level. Like those colonies already wanted to make queen cells, right? That's why we split them. So now I don't want them to get too big for that medium, where if I get them down in that single brood chamber slammed out, then hopefully they'll populate that box, and then I can go back and start putting the honey supers on after I take that the top colony off, right? Once it comes back with a mated queen.
Well, were you had the queen cells? Was that thing packed out?
One of them
packed out bees and eggs and larvae.
Well, one of them is hatched, and I was talking to James today, and we were trying to figure out. I think it's been a couple weeks now, right? Like 2 weeks. I was trying to go back through my videos to see exactly when I said I did it, and so probably will be. I didn't see a queen or any evidence of a queen in that box, but she was hatched. So it might be a virgin walking around in there. She might have went out and flew out and didn't get mated, and so she didn't come back or something. But I did add them a frame of larvae in each one of those in case they need to make another queen to stop the colony.
Just give her a couple weeks. Don't go in there and bother them.
Right. Well, the problem is they're on top of colonies that I need to check. Right. So without
take the box off and don't get inside and sit it down or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, then you're taking a bottom board, the box, and the lid all off at the same time, and they're not strapped together, right? So it's kind of weird, but we'll see what happens.
Well,
and you came on late, but Texas Bee Supply put in a swarm lure order today, so I'm kind of hyped.
Yeah, I've seen that little other live thing that you did.
Leave her alone, Bob.
I've been super busy. Last night I had my club meeting and came back from that, and I had to bottle a little bit of honey and then work on them pollen patties, get them ready to take them out there today.
How many people did you have at your club meeting?
About 30 or 40, maybe.
All right.
I guess a good 35. We had honey tasting, social, I guess you'd call it. I had Lee's honey there and had all the honeys that the people gave me from Hive Life. And let's see, I had some honey that was given to me while I was over at the barbecue at Bohemia Bees with Jason.
The BBQ.
Yeah, the BBQ. And I had, I don't know, like James's honey there, so I had a variety of honey from all over the different around the United States. And then I also had Canadian honey. And then there were some other folks that, had brought some stuff in. Then we also had a honey exchange type thing. It went very well. It was, the people really liked it as far as the members go. But, so anyway, I got all that done and worked on my other stuff last night late. And then today I got in here and I put a bucket of honey in my bottling tank and got that done and carved up this fondant fondant into slabs to where I can get it in these hives tomorrow, hopefully. And,
James did those displays, right, for the stores.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he's had to refill them both twice. They were sold all the way out already. He sold like $2,000 worth of honey in like this past week on those displays.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So that's what, like $3.99 US. I know he's probably watching or listening. So
I don't know. I have no idea.
He's probably chuckling in the background. So.
But, so like I say, I've been, kind of getting into my hives and trying to get them boosted, get rid of some of this older stuff I've had laying around and all that. And
you know what? While we're sitting here and we've got 42 people, I'm going to apologize. So when Kyle was on from New Zealand, I made a comment that I said, now, none of you 3D printing guys rip this idea off and print your own, right? I was joking, but some people didn't take it as a joke, so I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend anybody, and I know that the people that watch this are on the up and up, right? So I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I'm truly sorry, and I apologize if it offended you. So I needed to get that out there. But yeah, not sometimes on this stream, we kind of go crazy and talk a bunch of junk. So I apologize. That was not the case. That was not what I was intending to do. I wasn't directing it at anybody. I wasn't calling anybody out. I'm just trying to be funny. So, it ended up not being funny. What was
the response to that idea? I know it's been around for a few years. Anybody thought it was a good idea?
Well, as far as I know, a lot of people were saying they were going to try it. And the fellow in the UK, Beekeeping Gardening, said he ordered like 30 sets for his colonies after watching it. So, and Kyle was on here a little while ago. He said he's sending me a care package, and who knows? There could be maybe a giveaway in the future. Not to mention, we've got the 1 year coming up on the stream next month. Actually, it's a month from tomorrow is 1 year. So who knows? We might have some giveaways in there. And
maybe.
And I've got a package coming from Saracell. It might be some Saracell giveaways going down too. So. We'll see. Some of the stuff I need to do review videos on, but some of the stuff might be giveaway stuff. Just depends on what they send. I don't know what's in the boxes. I just know that there's boxes coming. So,
did you see that, Tim?
What's that?
Adrian wants to know what the rack is in the upper corner. Is that a deer rack?
Yeah, the squirrel.
That's a fox squirrel.
Fox squirrel mounted up there. I guess everybody's talking. It's a big old red squirrel.
That's about close I can get you without bouncing you all over the place. But
I thought it was
just old fox squirrel.
I thought it was a
It's not
jackalope.
freaking looking as a jackalope. That's why it's way up in the corner. Because when all our kids come over, it freaks them out. So we hide it up there.
Is it really is it a real
It's a
squirrel? I
mound.
mean,
It's a mound of a fox squirrel, a
It's
big
not
old
a
squirrel.
jackalope. It's really a squirrel.
Yeah.
You've seen the jackalopes, right?
yeah, I've seen that where they got a rabbit with horns on or something
Deer
like that.
antlers on it, or
Yeah,
little-
well, is that what that really is? That what kind of a thing like that, or is that a real?
No, that's a real squirrel.
Okay, I guess I've never seen one before.
I've never seen them down south, but I've seen them up north. They're like these big red squirrels.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
thin
our
and
squirrel's
out.
about that big around.
No, these
A
you
little
got
gray
Ethiopian
squirrel.
squirrels. These are like healthy squirrels.
Yeah.
These are massive squirrels.
You know,
That looks like a raccoon.
It's
a
about
big
the
old-
size of a raccoon.
Size of a
they
baby
probably
raccoon.
Yeah.
they probably about a 4 or 5 pound squirrel. They pretty big squirrels down here.
Yeah,
But-
They're
Yeah.
thin. It's really
I mean,
sad.
all
You
we
don't
got
see
is these. All we got is a little gray squirrels. You know, the little teeny things. The only
Oh, we
other thing
got-
I had, we were out years
Yard
ago in the woods, and
They go get in a car.
I've
Yeah.
seen a flying squirrel go through the air one time.
We have lots of them.
Yeah, one
Flat.
of our cats went on a killing spree last year, and for about a week, every morning, she had flying squirrels sitting at the front door.
Literally at the front door.
I was like, you got to quit killing the flying squirrels. You know, the little gray squirrels, I'm okay with that because they can be a nuisance getting in you everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why she got on them flying squirrels so much. But
Mm-mm.
yeah, unfortunately, them old fox, man, they're really, really pretty. Hannah got some pictures of one the other day. We was down in the south end of the county, and there was one down there. You don't see them very
Not
often.
near as much as you used to. They used to be everywhere down here. But
Dennis
Charlie,
is-
while we got
They're
your
in
attention,
yeah, we're in South Alabama, Dennis.
whenever you start doing that, all right, we was talking not long ago, we got 2 colonies we're going to delegate to running your brood chamber management.
Oh, you mean single brood chamber?
Yeah, using your mediums.
about single brood chamber management.
It worked.
no.
It works. Let me tell you.
So we're going to try it down here and see how it goes.
Well, the thing of it is that it's not my idea. You know, this is what all the commercial guys do. If you watch Cayman, he does the same thing. He doesn't talk much about it, but
Cayman,
that's what
Ian,
that's huh?
James, all those guys.
All them guys do it. They all do it. It's the management thing about it.
All right,
And
here's
now-
the question.
Hmm? What, Tim?
Both of them right now are sitting in single deeds.
Okay.
Both colonies are running about 6 frames of
Full
bees.
bees.
When
Okay.
should we start adding those
Well,
extra
now-
boxes?
All right. When's your honey flow start?
Well, we're kind of starting to fire up a little bit with some nectar because the other
Well,
day
like
when we
around here, I'll start. Let's say at the end of March. That's when the maples are starting to bloom. You know, and you get a little bit of honey or a nectar in, and you don't really get the honey out of that. That's just for the bees for the feed. The idea behind it is that you got that deep box. She lays that whole thing up, so there isn't a place for them to store that food. Which is that's what you're looking for, and that's when you want to put so if you're starting to say there's a little bit of a flow starting, I'd do it now. I'd
Okay.
put a queen excluder on. I'd put the honey super on. Now, how many frames of cat brood do you think you have in there right now out of
How
10?
about
Okay.
2 or 3 good frames?
Okay, well, let's hypothetically, let's say we got 4 frames of cat brood in there. I would take 2 of them and put them either in another hive. But I mean, are they like just how's
He's only
the
got
bee
6 frames of
population?
bees out of a 10-frame box, right? So
What's
it's
that?
six, he said he's got 6 frames of bees in a 10-frame box. So that's
Yeah,
6
but I said
per
cap. That's the thing. You don't want to move open larvae out of there.
Most everything's capped.
It's all capped.
I
All
mean,
right.
she's got just very little far as eggs and larvae, but 90% of it is capped.
Mhm.
Okay. So you got how many frames in there that I'll say pretty much capped? 4 frames, 6 frames,
3 good
Yeah,
frames.
maybe
3
2 or
good
3.
frames.
Mm.
Okay. Um,
Just let her build out a little bit more.
yeah, I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking, but have you got another hive that's kind of weak that needs brood?
We do. We had 2, but one skedaddled on us the other day.
Okay, so it's already absconded.
Yep.
And we had 1 weak colony left though.
So you need one. There's one colony needs some help about building back up.
Yeah.
So for right now, what you can do is, if it's just the strongest colony, you could take a frame of cap brood out. If you got like 2 or 3 frames of cap brood, take 1 or 2 of those out. I would say 1 right now. Put that in the weak hive. Take a empty frame with drawn wax and put it in its replace. So now she's got a place to lay.
Mhm.
And then put the queen excluder on, put the honey super on. The whole theory of the whole mathematics of it or mechanics is you want her to lay up everything with eggs and larvae down in the bottom. You're going to have a little bit of nectar in there and a little bit of pollen, you might say, in their, let's say, the pantry, you might say, for them to feed that stuff right there. And then it forces all those worker bees to put everything upstairs and all your honey's up there and all. And then just keep doing that. Just keep going in there every 10 days or so. Check that bottom brood box. That's the problem with this system is it you got to touch the hives quite often. But if you only got a few hives, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're in there, let's say every weekend or every 7 to 10 days. But
Yeah, we
and you
usually in about every week, especially whenever spring and
all
summer
right,
starts coming.
that's
We
fine.
got to battle the beetles anyway.
Yeah. Hey, Jason. Yeah, just go in there and watch. You know, you kind of want it. One thing I noticed this past season is that you had the honey super on to, queen excluder honey super, and I'm running mediums, and the bee population up in the honey super, it was like 80, 90% of the bees were up in the honey super and covered all the top of the frames. And that was the hive that produced the most honey. They're up there not eating the honey, but they're more like the retrievers or workers putting the honey in the cells and or the nectar. And that's one thing I noticed was the population of judging, how successful the hive was going to be. So if there's bees to where it's a sea of bees. When you take that honey super off, you can't even see the frames. And then you got the same kind of look on the honey super, whereas there's bees down in the frames and there's, the bees are covering 80, 90% of all the tops of the frames. That's going to be a great honey producing hive.
Mhm.
And what I'm going to do this year is if like now you have a weak hive, so that hive needs a little bit of brood and stuff to be taken out of the strong hive and put it over here. If you didn't have that, I'm going to do a demery where I'm going to put the a brood box up on top, and I'll just cycle the brood. I'll cycle the cat brood up to the top, put the empty frames in the bottom. She lays it all up, and as you get cat brood, you just keep bringing it up to the top with the bees. Keep her downstairs, and that hive will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you'll have the one honey super on there. Then you'll go ahead and put maybe 2 of them in the middle, and then the brood chamber up on top. And it'll just get bigger. Now, the other thing, I talked to a lady last night about it, and I said, what about the open comb that's in your brood chamber, the frames? You don't want them to lay that up with honey. And she said that sometimes she puts in foundation. So if they go up there and they want to pull wax, hey, that's fine too. So that's that's going to be an experiment for me this year.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, everybody says, you know, obviously if the brood box is full, they have no choice but to move up. But if you've got space down there, sometimes it's hard to get them to come up and start drawing that box out. So at what point do you recommend putting just a box of foundation on there and say, go for it?
You mean how much comb you got, Tim? As far as honeycomb?
On those mediums, we probably got. Are you talking about empty or right now?
Well, I'm talking about where it's drawed wax out. You know, let's say how many boxes of drawn wax have you got?
Oh, we probably got 40.
40?
40 frames.
40 frames. So that's 4 boxes.
Yeah.
Well, or a little bit more than 4. Let's say 5 boxes. We do 9 frames. I always put the drawn comb on, and you might put a 10 frame box of foundation on. I tried it where you put the foundation in between the other 2 combs, and for me it just doesn't seem to work. They'll draw maybe on one side, but they'll draw the other side way out past the original. And
then you got a fat thin.
Yeah, you know, I just never had any luck with that. And
so what if you put foundation in there, a whole box, let them start drawing it out when the flow starts, and then drop a drawn one on top of them?
Mm-hmm.
That way you're drawing a box, but then when they get it full, then they move up and they don't have to draw that box out then, right? So they can just store as much as they can store in there.
Well, if you're starting out on the bottom box, I would put drawn comb on first. Get them started, get them to come up. Because if you put foundation on there, they look like there's nothing there. Put the foundation on first. And if you want to put a whole box of put drawn comb on first, then put the foundation on top of that. And they'll work up towards that other stuff. So,
all right. So you would definitely start off with the drawn box and then drop another one in.
Yeah. Make them. I would start out with drawn comb first.
So are you doing the 9 combs? Or are you doing 10 combs?
We're going to run 10 on everything of ours.
So
I tried to do the 9, and I'm trying to get them to draw it out. And I'm having problems where they put cross comb, like a burr comb in there between the 2, like a bridge.
Mine propolize in the frame rests really thick in between, and it's probably due to the hive beetles that they're trying to encapsulate them or stick them in there. So I don't know if it's a something that I should if I should leave it that way. I mean, I need the fatter comb for my uncapper, so that works out doing it that way. But I've got to I start it with 10 frames, right? And then when they start drawing it up and they get it pretty thick, then I take one out and move it to 9 frames so they make it thicker, and then move that 1 frame that they're working on to the next super and make that 10 frames, and just keep pulling one out and moving it up to try to get them to get that thicker foundation in there.
Well, the other thing, I've tried that, and something that I was wondering is, I have one of them gauges that you put in there, that spaces it out for 9 frames. And I'm wondering whether the spacing, you need to take the 9, you have 9 frames, but you put it closer together, maybe make up your own little gauge of, let's say, a piece of wood, 1/8 of an inch thick, let's say.
Right.
Put that in there and gauge it out to where you only give them a little bit of extra space, and they'll draw it out. And then you just keep getting a little wider and a little wider. I don't know. I just never had I haven't had any luck with doing it the other way.
Well, last year was the first year that I tried the 9, and it was like that. Some are really, really thin, and some were thick.
Yeah.
So, we'll see this year. And I may not be. Depends how the season goes. If I split too much, honey flow for me may not even be a thing. It might just be a growing.
Well,
year.
you'll get some honey. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get. I mean, that's just the product of having bees, right? You're gonna get some honey, but maybe not like a full production type of year. So we'll see. And again, it depends like how many nukes I sell. If that
don't
expands.
sell any nukes.
No, I'm selling nukes, but they're not my nukes, right? They're gonna be nukes like you guys get, and resell them. So start with 10 frames until they are drawn out, then go to 9. Okay, so wait till they're all the way flush with the frames and then move it.
Well, I do that myself, but the problem of it is you have a frame here and a frame here, but then they'll put like a darn cross comb over because I'll space them out with that spacer thing and all that.
Right.
And it just doesn't seem to, they'll draw one side out. Well, I don't know. I'll have to experiment with that. I did put some empties in there in between the others. That didn't seem to work at all. So,
We just put foundation in and just do 10 frames. We've noticed the last couple of years. I mean, they'll draw them out just beautiful.
yeah. Yeah. If you got foundation, put a whole box of 10 frame in there, 10 frames of foundation, let them draw it out.
But if you do like you say, if you try a checkerboard,
it don't work.
No, it don't work out too. It has it forever.
I'd put all 10 frames of foundation in and they'll draw it out because I went out there one year, I don't know, it was last year, year before, and the flow was pretty much over here. And I said, well, for some reason I said, I'm going to put this whole box of foundation on there. And I'm like, I won't even look, I won't even have to worry about looking at it for a while. So I didn't. And darn if they didn't draw the comb out and they filled it with nectar. And I'm like, where did this nectar come from? But it was late in the season. I was quite surprised. So get 10 frames drawn out all the way out, then pull one out and space them. Well, I'll try that, but I think I tried that last year, and I don't know whether they actually draw it out like they should have or not.
The only problem we've ever had, really, Charlie, just like we do the 10 frame all the time. We've never tried spacing or 9 frame, 9 frame spacing. But you talk about that bridge comb that's coming, say, from foundation to foundation. Mm-hmm. Now, for us, they do just the opposite. You'll have a little bit of a bridge. I mean, it don't take nothing to pop it with your hive tool. Right. But on your side rails, now, buddy, they'll fill both ends of them side rails up in a heartbeat.
On the ends, you mean the box?
Yes, sir. On the sides of your frames.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
you got pretzels tonight, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, but I a lot of times I just run 10 frames and stay the heck with it because I don't have a uncapping machine except for a honey plane.
No, we are the uncapping machines.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say what I do. I have a honey plane where I just use that, a hot knife type of thing.
And they'll draw it out quick in a flow.
Cage's, let's see, she's reading off Cajun saying.
He keeps saying to checkerboard like a foundation frame in the brood because they'll draw it out way quicker.
In the flow to tighten up the brood box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess he's drawing brood comb out.
Well,
I got oodles and oodles of brood comb. I don't have a problem there.
That's the other thing you got to be mindful of too when you start going through your comb to put it in the box, that you're not grabbing that honeycomb and dropping it in thinking it's brood comb, because then they'll lay it up like drones, right? then the next thing you're like, man, I got a drone layer. No, you just put the wrong size comb.
No, they won't lay it up. They usually, I don't think they keep it the same size as worker comb, but
Yeah, but I'm saying if you got a deep box and you're replacing a frame of comb, like if you're moving the brood somewhere else and you're dropping a frame in there, you got to make sure you're dropping in brood comb, worker comb, instead of the honeycomb, because the honeycomb is the same size as the drone comb.
right.
And then all of a sudden you'll have
But
drones.
I don't know, Tim. You just have to kind of try it. I mean, if you're getting a little bit of a flow in right now, then I would. If you're looking at those at brood nest, and if there's just jam packed full of bees, then go ahead and take a frame of cat brood out, maybe 2 frames out, and then put 2 frames of open comb in where she can lay. And if you got that weak hive, move it over there to that weak hive. You might even try to take bees, find the queen, isolate her, take 2 frames of that out with the bees, put her in the other hive to kind of boost that hive up in population and everything.
Randy says, never split your brood. Put the foundation on the outside of the brood.
Outside brood.
That's putting foundation in there, and we're talking about drawing comb back in.
No, I think that was in response to what Cajun said about checkerboard in the brood box.
Oh no, I don't think I want to do that. I like James.
Go ahead, Charlie.
No, go ahead. I was listening.
Oh, I'm just saying we got some kind of flow coming in. We took and pulled. I don't know. There was probably a half gallon of honey in one of the mediums we left on, and just trying to break everybody back down the other day. And we took a few, put into some of those weaker colonies, and I think we left 2 frames just out. And a couple of days, they didn't even hardly touch that honey. I mean, usually this, y'all know as well as I do, but it ain't nothing coming in. They're gonna have that robbed out in just a matter of minutes. But they ain't hardly touch that honeycomb out there. So we went on and just brought it in.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to say David Burns, who? Everyone was saying, well, David Burns is going live for his first time tonight. We got 112 people watching right now.
Really?
So, yep. So thank you for everybody that is watching and hanging out with us. But yeah, definitely smash that.
But you got to remember something. David Burns is for the beginners. He talks about beginner techniques, not intermediate or advanced or anything like that. So, I mean, most people here are not beginners per se.
Except Mike.
Huh?
Except Mike.
Yeah. Mike goes and opens the darn hive up and gets his butt stung all over the place.
Yeah. That was part of the problem with the chipping of
What were you
prices.
thinking, Mike? Come on now. You better than that. Man, them girls were mad at you big time.
Yeah. Charlie?
How do you mix 1-to-1?
Charlie, did you happen to see what I did, though, to piss him off?
No, not really. You were taking the tops off is all I could tell you.
Yeah. There was a foot of snow and ice on top of him, and I was scooping it off, and rather than let him sit for an hour, so I was making a hell of a lot of noise up there, and yeah, that was funny. And that was the second time I opened that one up too. And oh, by the way, when they came out, the ones that did come out, there was poop all over the place. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
I'm sure.
Yeah. In fact, I got to do a video and follow up and explain actually what the heck I did. But you guys were talking earlier about possibly checkerboarding the brood frames.
No, we were checkerboarding the honey supers, and I've tried that where you came and talked about that, where you put 1 or 2 new frames in each honey super, and and all that. And I said, okay, I'll try that to try to gain more honey super frames. And sometimes it works, and a lot of times it makes they draw a little bit out on the new foundation, and they really draw out the old foundation out trying to get closer to it. And I'm like, nah, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah. No, I heard someone mention checkerboarding in the brood.
And had mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great anti-swarming technique. If you're really trying to retard that hive, you can do that. Now, as far as drawing the comb out, just to draw a comb out, what I'm saying has got nothing to do with that. But I think it was Dick Brickner was explaining how to, maybe it's Brickner? Yeah, so if you got a really strong one, you can pull out some of the brood and put in some empty frames. But there's a certain technique that you do that. And I'd be terrible at describing it, but it's basically depends upon how warm the hive is. So you're not separating the brood too far.
Yeah, but I think that also requires you to add another super on, right? So you
No, that wasn't it. He was just talking about going to some yards that he knew doggone well he wasn't going to be able to get back there for weeks, and he wanted to keep them from swarming.
Okay.
So that's what he would just do down there. And the checkerboard and then the honey super runs. I'll just tell you guys what I did last year. I was doing the vertical checkerboarding zigzag pattern. And I brought that up several times over the show. And I've had some pretty good luck with that. But thank you, Mike, for doing that flow, draw a cone, because the boys swarm. Yeah, it gets really interesting. But that's just where you're taking an empty frame and put it over a full one and just switching them as you go side to side. That works better though with drawn comb, but you will get more honey that way. And the closest I've come to figure out is that the bees are trying to do a logical thing in their brain panic, because if you see some drawn, I'm losing. Sorry about that. If you're losing, if you look at a tree hive or some cutout, you'll see the cone just extends all the way down. And I think what's happening there is that the bees look at that and say, hey, there's something missing there. So they fill it in on the vertical side. No, it's got nothing to do with drawn comb. So, but I had to bring that back up. Boy, you sure got a lot of folk watching tonight there, Bobby. What's going on?
I think it was Fox Plus probably helping out.
Wonderful.
I'm surprised. I mean, only 30. Well, it might be more thumbs up. I haven't refreshed my screen. I'm showing 38 likes out of 109 viewers, so that's not great ratio. But
I'll hit that thumbs up.
let's see if it's. No, I see. It's still showing 38. I just refreshed my screen, so it's all good. But I've seen people do the checkerboard with the brood box. They'll add another brood box on top, and then it's like empty frame, like brood over an empty frame, and then empty frame over brood. Kind of doing it like that, alternating them in the boxes. And I've seen them do that.
Come on, sounds like fun.
And then Hope said, Greg Rogers showed it on Bob Benny where you rotate. Where you rotate drawn frames from the outside and put it in between brood frames. You always keep two brood frames together in the middle, or together.
Yeah, so, is that guy down around Asheville? I think it is Greg Rogers.
I don't know where Greg's at.
I think I watched the video. He had a two-parter, and he talked about all that, how he rotated it around. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, but you got to have lots of bees. That's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to be at the point to where, damn, this is a box of bees. I got to do something. And that's
what I was trying to tell Tim is when you look in that brood chamber, you got to, it's like Ian says, you got to have a box of bees. If you've got a box of bees, pull some cat brood out of there. And
all right, so he's in Asheville. All right, cool.
And take it to the other hive. Oh, yeah, that's the same guy. That was a good video he had.
So yes, things are coming up fast here, and it sounds like we're coming up faster for you guys than for me right now. So you're a few weeks ahead of me, I think.
Yeah, Charlie's got some magnificent weather there this winter. I got a call from my cousin in Gaithersburg, Charlie, and said it's 60 degrees here. I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
That was yesterday, I guess it was. Yeah.
Bob controlled this pig. It's being turned into hams and pork chops right now.
Wasn't that one of them Mescalina pigs or whatever it's called?
It was supposed to be Angelina and Cooney, but it must have got more Cooney than Angelina because it was 300-pounder. So, matter of fact, there was a bunch of wild hogs that people had shot and taken over to the processor, and they looked tiny compared to the one mine when it was in there.
Really?
Oh yeah, and
wow.
One hunter in there. Whose backyard did you get this out of? I said, my backyard. That's where that came from. So.
Oh man.
Should
So
have told him the neighbor.
What's that? The neighbors?
Should have told him it was the neighbor's pig.
Yeah, it came in my yard, and then now it's pork chops.
So Grammy, look what Grammy got. What was that? Nightbot spanked her at.
Popped up.
Spam. I wonder what that was about.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I think he got Brian Coper to help him with his live stream because I think someone said that Brian had been putting out that it was his first live stream and all that. So, they used that Nightbot thing over there. But I've got, 50 Nightbots in the chat. They can, if something's wrong, they'll squash it. I'll order one lure and bacon.
So how do I share on my channel your upcoming videos, Charlie, Bob?
So if you see a link, if you're watching it on YouTube, you got the thumbs up and the thumbs down button, and then the very next thing over there says share.
Right.
If you have, I don't know how many subs it requires, but if you have that button, you can hit share, and then it'll say the very first one on top is create a post. That's
no kidding.
On your YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. I've used share quite a bit, but I've never paid attention to that one. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you.
I can actually show that to you. I've got the technology, not as good as Lee, but you hit the share button right here.
Yeah.
And when you pop it up, it says create a post. So that
that goofy thing. Okay.
That'll go in your community if you hit that one, or you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got. That'll go in your community signed up for, right? Or you can just copy the link and share it. Facebook, Twitter, so whatever you got. That's signed up for, right? That's the way I always do it. Like if somebody's posting a video, like Mr. Ed posting a video tomorrow, I've got that shared out so people can go and check that out. And so yeah, it's exciting times. I have a wrench and a mean side eye. That's it. I've got a wrench and I'm not afraid to use it.
So I want to share something with you folks that I found going through my 4-pack hives. This is the first year that I didn't have like a entrance in the middle of my upper super. I don't use upper entrances because then you lose your heat dome, and that's when you get your condensation up there. But all of my supers, all my deeps, all have a spin wheel on them. And in the winter, I open it up just enough to let us. Bob, don't light that up, man. I'm gonna leave to get cigarettes myself. Son of a gun.
I didn't know you. Do you smoke?
On rare occasions, yeah.
I only smoked when I drank, and then it became more than that. Now I smoke.
Yeah. But this year I used the B&B wrap, and I didn't poke a hole through on those hives. And what happens is that in my weather here, the hives, the bees will stay up in the upper box. So I've got 2 supers, right? And it gets cold enough where they don't want to go down and fly out and poop. So bees, most people don't notice, but the bees, once you get them locked in there for about 5 months or something like that, about 70%, I think that's what it is, about 70% of their back end is just full. And they need to go and go bad. So I made that mistake. And it was just because I'm speed wrapping with the B&B wrap on the outside of the 4-packs. But so I'm going to go out there and do a wire probe. And I just leave that disc open far enough to let a single bee out so they can just fly out and poop. And then I'm not getting much of a draft into the upper cluster there. But on an interesting note, if it gets really, really, really cold, both Troy and I have seen this, the bees will actually sacrifice themselves and plug that hole up. And then when it gets warmer or whatever, the other bees will drag those bees out and free that hole up again. So it's just a real. I've been wanting to get that on film.
So wait, you said the bees will plug the hole up?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that Kyle was talking about, how they manage the flow with the hive gate, where the cluster comes out and plugs the hole if it's getting too cold in there.
Interesting. See, I missed that part of it.
So, so it's pretty interesting, because I never had seen the colony from the bottom side looking up, right?
Yeah.
We always look. I mean, I've tipped the hive and looked at it that way, but like when it's closed, what's going on in there? So when they would take that cluster and hang down in the hole to plug it up, and then if it got too warm, they would actually move. The cluster would move out of the way to let the air flow in to regulate the temperature in the colony.
No kidding. So what type of temperatures was he talking about that they plug it up?
I don't remember what the exact temperature was, but he had two colonies that were side by side. One had the gate on it and one didn't. And you could definitely see how the uncontrolled airflow, the bees were kind of, when it got cold, the temperature started dropping. They all went up into the frames to try to get away from the cold. But with the hive gate, they stayed down lower and plugged that up with their bodies. Like just, a handful of bees could plug the hole up and control it for the whole colony. And then
that's really great news.
They would line up in that gate and slipstream, kind of like NASCAR, to literally they were in lines 2 or 3 wide where bees could still go out, but they were fanning to drag the air in or out of the colony. So it was really, to me, it was really interesting. It was just a different perspective on what's going on in there that nobody really pays attention to.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. Now, I do remember I asked him, what would happen under really cold weather. My biggest fear was to have a perfect breeze that would go in there and get in the hive gate and blow that cold air right in the center of the cluster.
But they plug it up like a stopper with bees, so that air only is affecting a few bees, and they can rotate them out, right? Just like but they
like the holes that we have. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I might fiddle around with a couple of those just to give it a run. That's really interesting.
So it's definitely something I'm going to try. And he said he hasn't tested it with hive beetles because they don't have hive beetles, but but there's a setup to where you could pull it out a little bit, and it's got a flange on it, which might make it harder for the beetles to get in. And then with the fact that the bees can control that area better, might make it harder for the beetles to even come in. So we're going to do a test on that.
Well, that'll be exciting. It might even be kind of funny to put a one of those peppermint candies in the back end of that.
Well,
I don't have hive beetles, so.
Tim, did I cut you off? Were you going to say something when I started talking?
Oh, I was just going to say, send them on if it'll do something with them hive beetles. I was going to ask you what the price of them things was, or if he told you.
No, Better Bee sells them. Let me see. I'll see if I can pull it up. I got a lot of tabs open here. Let me see.
We already own the beetle fight. I seen Cajun. He's already dealing with them too down there, or over there.
Yeah, I've been squashing a bunch too lately. Let me see. Hivegate. So Hivegate, we don't need the mouse guard plate, right? So
no.
They're showing temporarily out of stock, but they got them for $16.95. So, and they do have the adapter plate, which is $10.50. So it just depends how you're going to do it. If you're going to fashion that entrance,
you can make that yourself.
Yeah. Well, I don't have mice problems getting into my colony, so I don't, there's no issue there. But,
I mean, we'd be willing to buy one just to see if it did help on the hive beetles kind of thing. I mean, it was interesting watching, his presentation on the cold
Yeah.
weather part and everything.
One
You
of
know, I think Russell Cooperman mentioned to me that Frederick Dunn has got like a Facebook area or something like that. We're all, I guess, are just dedicated to that thing.
Frederick Dunn did a video that using it and bringing some awareness to the product, but Frederick Dunn doesn't use them. How should I put this? Appropriately, I guess is the best way to do it. Just say it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not throwing shade at Frederick Dunn. Frederick Dunn does Frederick Dunn, but the way it was explained to me is you have to have that entrance, the gate, right underneath the bees for them to be able to use it. And the way Frederick Dunn's colonies are set up, he's got his bottom board, but then he's got his slatted rack.
Oh, that's right.
If you
Yeah.
put the hive gate in there, the bees can't interact with the gate to plug it up and let the air flow like they should, right?
Okay.
So it's too far away from the bottom of the cluster.
Actually, I was wondering about that when I was going through something, but that apparently that Facebook site has nothing to do with Fred per se. It has to do with other people that are using hive gates and just trading stuff back and forth. And I haven't looked at it. So
I haven't looked at it.
I mean, I've heard, the slider racks have been around for years. They seem to be beginning to be back more popular here lately.
Jason at Bohemia Beast swears by him. I mean,
now why is that?
Well, I guess what it does is it stops the draft from being able to come directly up on, because I guess where the frames are hanging, the slatted rack is actually hanging in between the crossboards are in between the frames. So there's no airflow coming up in between the frames, right? It's just coming up under the frames. So, and I haven't used them, so I'm probably the wrong guy to give that demonstration. But
the thing of it is, what you just stated, the hive gate kind of basically emulates the same thing.
Kind of, but I can still see how airflow, if it's coming up, it's going to get in there. Where
but you only have one entrance for the airflow to go in, and the bees can regulate it better.
Right. That's
now. Was there some talk about slatted racks and swarm cells?
No, it was where the bees would hang down lower on the frames, and they could lay. The queen could lay lower down in the box, in the bottom of the box. Now, whether that really makes a whole lot of difference, I don't know.
Yeah,
find this product.
Curious.
I had a product over here, and I don't know what I did with it now. But as far as beetles, I'm working on something.
They're Utz pretzels, Cajun.
I'm working on trying to make.
I was going to fire up the popcorn machine here for Charlie, but and Matt and Sarah.
And I was going to try to make test some beetle bullets. So using that bullet that I made for the lure, but instead of that, use peppermint oil and menthol.
Oh, okay.
So to see if it's what's in the peppermint, right? So if you can get a long release and you don't have to carry 10 pounds of peppermints with you to the bee yard, then it might be an effective thing, So I'll try it on my colonies.
Yeah. Well.
So it'll be.
Holler at us when you get it ready, Bob. We'll sure try it too, man.
Well, I gotta find this stuff now. What I did with it, I had it handy, and now that I'm looking for it, I can't find it because
I like Liesel message you there, Bob. Everything has to be within reach.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've got this so close to the wall that I have to put it out to the side, but I had it over here. Where did it go? Where did it
Charlie, you've got a big pretzel fan club going on in the chat there.
Yeah, I see that.
Peanut butter stuffed and white chocolate coated.
I've seen the white chocolate coated.
I don't know. I have to say Snyder's has the best pretzels.
Yeah.
but I haven't tried the Utz pretzels, so I can't really.
But Grammy was
Gonna have to
talking
give hillbilly rights. You know,
So,
I haven't been able to get him. Hopefully, everything's good with him.
so Tim, you laid out a bunch of swarm traps.
yeah.
We've got a few out. We got a little spot we was gonna set some nukes up on. We just kind of threw some boxes on there and got Bob's lure in it, and got one that's just comb, and another one we trying out with lemongrass. And but we do have that one extra with that little of a colony that decided to head out the other day. We got a few out here and there. We just kind of piddling with right now.
Now, when you're going through your boxes in your out yard, you just tip the bottom boards looking for swarm cells.
No, not too much. I mean,
We always pull the frame.
we just pull the frames up because usually just me and her, we ain't dealing. Like last year, I think our top number as far as colonies was around 18 or 20. And
Yeah.
it's not too bad for us to just go through and really cherry pick. And
I would encourage you to do that. As long as you don't have a flow on, and so you don't have the honey supers on. Tip the bottom box.
Hey,
And
this stuff don't work, Matt. Don't buy it. Don't.
I've been telling people that, but nobody believes me, Bob.
Don't. Well, you're like the doubting Thomas of the group anyway. So don't buy it.
Amen.
Nobody buy it. Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh, you son of a gun. No, and then the beauty of that is that if I tip those boxes and I see any swarm cells, I pull up my Rapala fillet knife, like Mr. Ed, Jeff Hirschkopf has done, and I cut them off.
Oh no,
And,
you can't listen to him because my swarm lure don't work. The fact that he caught 2 in 24 hours with my swarm lure, that
I
doesn't.
I wasn't kidding, Bob. I actually recognized that location where we had those two up there. That was really kind of fun.
Well, everybody does that, right? So if you catch a swarm somewhere, you put a trap back where you caught a swarm before. That's
Amen.
So,
Yeah.
Let's see.
And it's just perfect there because it's like under a covered porch or something like that. So they get a little protection, which kind of makes me curious about that. But Tim, that was I had talked to Russell Koopman. I think it was cost the most swarms that I can remember out of our general group here. And last year he got about 50 of them in. And his secret was to put them on a ridge of a hill so that the scent of that trap would carry further rather than have it on flatlands. And he said, no, that just makes a tremendous amount of difference. Now, I don't have any place at all to do that here. I mean, I've kind of flatlands in the forest. But I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to mention that to you.
now we're going to take two. I think it was you. We was chatting back and forth about the pecan orchard.
Yeah.
We're going to take two up there, and they are on top of a little. It ain't much of a hill, but they are on the highest point of the land up there, and we're going to try to make a run at it.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Hey, Joseph. How's your weather there?
Hello.
I'm sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You said something about last year.
Last year, we was just taking them swarm cells, and like y'all talking about, we was just pulling them with a pocket knife. I didn't have a fillet knife, but we got to dabbling around, and I was looking at some wood carving stuff. Because, y'all know trying to cut them cells off that foundation can be a pain.
Yeah.
Get them off right. But we found this spoon bowl knife.
Oh, wow.
Carving knife, and we're gonna try it out. It seems to have enough leverage and all that to where you can actually get up underneath the queen cell and get down to the foundation and not worry about tearing into that cell nowhere near as far as taking a pocket knife and coming in on one side, then going to the other side and cut across to get them off. But we're gonna try that spoon knife.
So, where do you get the spoon knife? By the way, that's why I use and Jeff does too, the Rapala fillet knife, because it kind of bends, the tip flexes a little bit. But what's the spoon knife thing you're talking about? What do you got there, guys? What?
We found it on Amazon. It's
No
a
kidding.
whole carving knife, I think it was called, or a
Yeah, I
stave.
was going to say. Yeah, we've got some of those over at the wood mill. Wow. Okay, that's really neat.
Anybody? I mean, we just looked it up. I think under like wood carving, something like that, and it popped up. A spoon bowl or a spoon knife, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just about. It's got a good hook on it,
Mhm.
and we're gonna try it.
See what
Go
works.
for it. Sounds great.
Y'all want to see the grief I catch as jokes? So if y'all could, oh, I don't want to. Well, I don't have his number up there, but you see what that says?
No.
Matt, from Matt and Sarah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he sends me this video. He opens up the new dated catalog to Swarm Commander.
No crap.
Watch, and he's like looking at.
Heard it's a good brand.
Yeah, heard it's a good brand, and he just. So it's I get jokes all the time. So,
Oh my gosh.
but hey, the good thing is there's a lot of stores picking it up right now. For me, it's a lot of
Grapefruit knife. Yeah, Hope. That's another one. The grapefruit knife. Absolutely, because you get that flex. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but there's
No.
another knife. Somebody was saying that he got it. It was for modeling, like a craft
Yeah.
store for cutting model clay.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of like you ever seen them rakes? Where you have two arms coming down and there's a straight bar going across
Oh yeah, yeah.
for weeding.
Yep.
I think the way he explained it to me, it looked basically like that, but only a hand tool.
Floating.
And
Yeah, actually, I've used those in pottery before. So yeah,
would that be where you take it and then just drag it down behind it?
yeah. Really good point, Charlie. Yeah, you could do that. It's you guys have all seen wire cheese cutters, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's basically what that is. It's just a smaller version of it, and it usually has yeah, about basically the same kind of wire.
But is it
So-
a wire or is it a
Wire.
Is it a knife?
Well, actually, they have them both, Charlie. They
I
have
would
them
think
both.
you would want a blade that went down and across. That way, it would slice the edges along with it.
They do make some of the ceramic, the pottery ones that actually have a blade going across, but it actually curves up a little bit. And they also have them that are straight, like a regular wire shape it would be. And then, of course, the wire ones, they're just straight too. But yeah, no, Hope, he was talking actually about it's basically kind of a cup spoon. And you'd use that for doing detailed gouges in wood carving, which are a pain to try and keep sharp, but they're just a different one. Sorry. Knife with a torch and curved it. Yeah, you can do that too. Whoever it was that said something about the grapefruit knife. Yeah, absolutely. So,
See, if I couldn't find nothing, that was going to be our next option. I've got plenty of them little propane torches,
Mhm.
and you can go to the dollar store and get them old cheap blades for a little bit of nothing. And that's what we was going to do, is heat them up and bend them, turn them into
Good
an L,
point.
do the same thing. But
That's it. Lee found it. A spoon knife. I knew that was it. He just put it in the chat.
okay, I guess
Wonderful.
Lee got to find a link on that knife.
leave it to Lee.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, I got to check that out. And then if you folks haven't done this, if any of you are still building any supers or whatnot, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we did last year when we built all the supers over at Vince's place, every single deep super has got dado grooves in it. And that's so you can either turn it into a three-way mating box, or you can run right down to the center and do basically a four-frame nuke in them. So if any of you guys are building them, I mean, run them over your table saw and put that in there as an option. I mean, you might never use it, but it gives you something that you can play with. As far as like queen cells, that's what I was kind of getting at there. So
It's hard to eat gumbo.
what's
How
that?
about you, Joseph? I mean, where you at, brother?
I'm in Southeast Louisiana.
Mm,
You ain't too far away.
Mr. Ed. It's close to Mr. Ed.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just north of him.
Yeah, you were down there extracting with him once?
Yep,
Probably
Yeah.
this past year.
Yeah. Hey, totally unrelated subject. How's the fishing down there right now?
For us, ain't
I
been
really
yet.
don't know.
Okay.
I hadn't
What,
been
Tim?
fishing in about 3 or 4 months.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Brandon
I saw
texts.
several people said hey to me over in the chat, but I don't see nowhere to type back to them.
Are you on a computer? Or are you on a phone? What are you
Yeah,
on?
I'm on a laptop.
There should be a thing on the top or the side that says comments. You can click on that button. It should show the feed up.
Well, it shows the feed, but you have to have the YouTube
see
channel open up and muted to, at least that's what I have to do. Type the comments there, so I'm
Okay.
bouncing in between tabs. So
All right.
just a thought there, but yeah.
So,
So-
hey, I
I
appreciate
get it.
everybody chiming in for No Mite Thursday. We're not talking about mites today. No Mite Thursday. No mite treat. That's what today has officially been. I guess we've been talking about drawn comb, right? We've been talking about single brood chamber management. Charlie loves when I impersonate Charlie. So
I never noticed that.
that's how you do it on your videos.
What's that?
We're talking about single brood chamber management.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've been talking about a few things. Joseph, what are you doing getting ready for the spring? And don't you dare say treating for mites. That's just a gift. We know people are treating for mites, but whatever. What else are you doing?
I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them right now because they're getting ready to blow up if something don't happen. I don't have drones yet, but I got them laying in drone frames right now.
You have no drones walking around.
I know.
I've got a
In
few.
what I've looked at now, I may be surprised next time I go in one.
I've got a few drones walking around and some cap drones cells, so we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Mike,
So,
go ahead, Mike.
I was just thinking there were 2 hives that I reversed come spring, and then I put the queen excluder in. But I keep drone frames in all my supers, and I'd forgotten that those were all capped up there. And literally about a month later, I was popping those things open, and all these drones were hatched, and they were trapped in the upper super.
Oh yeah, that happened to me last year when I did that demo ray.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I trapped a ton of drones up top, and they couldn't get out because they couldn't get through a queen excluder.
See, if I would have been thinking, I would have opened up my my upper disc just a skosh to let them out. But boy, I tell you what, talking about doing things that make you feel stupid.
Like, losing the stuff that I was trying to talk about on here tonight.
Yeah, where is it? Come on.
Don't know. No idea at this point. Now it's going to drive me crazy.
Does anybody know where Hope Sadler is? She said she's got 2 yards full of drones.
Hope is actually a he, and he is in South Carolina as well, but north of
South
me.
Carolina also?
Yeah, he's north of me, maybe an hour or so. Hour and a half, maybe. So.
Oh, yeah, Lee, I was putting the queen excluders in there because Oh, I only use excluders by. Oh, we've never talked about that before. Cool. Yeah, I'm using the queen excluders because I do single brood box management. So
You use single
Single
brood
brood management.
management.
I don't know why that's a joke, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty damn funny.
You want to see why it's a joke? For me, let me see if I can find
Please.
it. I mean, keep talking while I'm looking for sure.
Oh man.
So what
So
about
I
your
heard y'all talking
hives?
about that earlier.
What's single brood chamber? That's
Yeah,
Charlie.
I heard you talking about that, and I would like to try that myself, but I can't hardly keep up with double deeps right now. They outgrow it so fast when they get started down here.
oh man, that's got to be a balancing act there. I mean, how many
Well,
frames of bees are you seeing in your bottom supers there?
Well, all I'm looking at is in my long hives right now. I'm seeing about 4 or 5 frames of brood,
Nice.
and that's smaller colony. They were smaller colonies actually going into the winter.
Oh wow.
so if you're running 2 deeps for your brood chamber, are do you have problems them backfilling, let's say, the top box with honey and stuff, and then they want to swarm?
Yeah, once they get going good and we get a good heavy flow,
Yeah.
if you don't keep a lot of empty comb on there for them, they'll backfill as soon as a young bee comes out. They'll start backfilling it during a heavy flow.
Even though if you got honey supers above.
Y'all know this guy?
Well, usually once you get them on there, that you're okay. If you get them on before they actually start backfilling.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me run
I'm
it.
going to do a series of videos throughout the season here.
All right, we had enough.
yard, and it's going
Yeah,
to be specifically on using the single brood chamber management technique. Now,
Single brood chamber management technique. You didn't use the
That was
hand, but we got to embellish.
Yeah,
it.
well,
That's what makes it parody. But it's a good series, so go check it out if you haven't checked it out yet.
No, that was a good video.
Hey, it is a good series. Y'all go check it out.
The second one I like the most about the mechanics of it. To me, that I like
Did he get the jacket?
people to understand what is going on in the hive and all that. Where if she lays all that bottom up and she'll push all the honey straight up into the supers and stuff, and it works. I mean, it works for me great. Just things like used to be you have 2 deep boxes and then you put a honey super on, and I'd get so aggravated because they'd be filling up the top deep box,
Yeah.
and then if they're filling up the honey super, they fill up, let's say, the 6 frames in the middle. Then you'd have to take the outer frames and push them to the center and push the full ones out and all that kind of stuff. But when you do the single brood chamber management system, they don't have any place in the bottom to put anything. So they have to go upstairs and they fill that honey super from wall to wall. And you don't have that problem moving them frames around and all that. The biggest thing of it is now, like Joe down there where you're at if you have a serious honey flow, instead of, putting 1 super on there, let's say a medium super on there, you probably want to put about 3 of them on there at one time to keep up with the flow. Now with mine, I don't have that kind of a flow.
Maybe so, but
Huh?
I would really like to try it. And I'm gonna tell you why. In my long hives, it don't matter how many frames that they have in there that they're filling up with honey or whatever. They always stop the brood on almost every time frame 11. Frame 11 will be brood on one side, and honey on the other.
No
And you can
kidding.
try to stretch it out by putting another empty comb in there somewhere, and you come back in 2 weeks and they'll still be on frame 11 and start putting honey in the rest of them.
Wow,
So
You know,
10
I don't
frames of brood makes sense.
right.
interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
know a thing about horizontal hives that much. Um,
Have some people in the chat talking about Ross rounds. And if
Right.
you're thinking about Ross rounds, this is a great kit, at least in my opinion, because it only takes one deep frame slot to run it, as compared to having to buy a whole kit to do like a whole super of Ross rounds. So you could technically put one of these in several hives, and that way you're not having to buy the whole wooden box, the shallow, the clips, and all that crap. You can just use this as a single frame. So I actually did a video on this thing. It's pretty good little kit.
Who is that? Who is that with?
Saracell. This is Saracell's website.
Okay.
So any Saracell dealer should have this kit. And we actually, I think I gave some of these away actually on the.
So, Bob, what's the cost on this?
Well, this is New Zealand dollars right here.
Yeah.
I think it's like $20
Oh,
frame, but you can reuse it right in your. If you have Ross rounds already, you can just buy these clips, and the existing Ross round frames will fit on the clips. Let me see. Go back one. Oh, there, of course. There it is. So a pair of the clips are $2.75. So if you converted it, I mean, this, I don't know what they are in the U.S. So that's New Zealand dollars, but you can use your existing Ross rounds with the clips and do it that way. So it's I thought it was a neat idea where you don't have to buy the whole box. You can just do piece part if you only wanted a little bit.
that
Right?
makes sense. I wouldn't mind putting one of those frames in my
That was for a
uppers.
deep box.
Yes, sir. That's for a deep box. So when you get the kit, if you don't have the Ross round frames, you can buy a kit. It's $20, and that gives you the 2 Ross round clips, or the 2 clips, the 2 Ross round cartridges, and the rings and the foundation for behind it. And that's $20. And you don't have to buy 100. Well, I don't know how many comes in the shallow. I think you can only put the 4 frames, or the one row of 4 in there, and I think it's 8 or maybe 10. I don't know, but it's a wooden box. You have to modify a shallow, and you have to put these clips in to hold the wood in, right, to hold them in place. And that's just to me, that makes more sense, where you can just clip them and put them in a deep box.
Yeah.
And I don't make any money off of that. I know you guys think I just shill all my own products, so that's a good thing. Just go get it, and tell them Bob sent you. I don't get any kickback though, so there you go.
Oh, come on. Ask him for a commission, Bob. Why not?
Truth in lending, right there. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have this weekend, there's going to be the Northeast Minnesota Beekeepers Association meeting. It's going to be up on the west shore of Lake Superior, path. And so Troy and I are going to go up there, and he's pretty excited about it. And I think it's going to be really interesting to talk to the beekeepers up there on the Canadian border and the lake effect snow they have and everything. And there's going to be some commercial guys up there that run a couple thousand hives. So that will be kind of fun. So
I need to find somebody to make a Canadian bee jacket, or a custom bee jacket that it's a bee jacket, but it looks like a Canadian Mounties outfit.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And send one to James and one to Brad and one to Ian.
Yeah.
If we could,
but you need to have the Mountie hat though with a nice broad brim. That would actually hang the bee veil very nicely.
Yeah. What if it was just like the bee veil that I've got that's round, right? And you just
there you go. Yeah. got a little bit of fun there. So
Don't make me get the fabric dye out. We'll hook that up.
Matt, I'm going to do my best to record up there. I have to empty my phone here, and right now the thing's giving me crap. So if nothing else, I'll have Troy do a bunch of recordings and we'll put some up there. It'll be kind of fun.
All right, so Pabst Royal Apiary answered the question. So I have 9 of those boxes, Bob. Built them myself. Each take 9 shallow Ross round frames. So stick one of those boxes on each of his strongest hives in the middle of the flow. It's about 85% success.
No kidding. That's wonderful.
So if you've got 9 frames, that's 9 times 4, right? That's 36 Ross rounds. Or if you did 1 frame, you would get 8. So just depends. You could spread them around and try to do it. But yeah, that's a good thing. I want to try it this year and see. But there's a lot of things I want to try this year. So we'll see if it gets in the things to do list.
Yeah. Yeah. Stack of stuff to do. It's trying to write up the to-do list and kind of run from there.
Let me see. Yeah, man, that's the. Let me see if they've got it over here. I'll send you over to these fellas if they got it. Let's see. They should have it, right? Well, they should have.
Well, Bug is taking off here, and unfortunately, I'm going to also. But
you're taking off on us?
Yeah, I'm trying to get everything ready for taking off this weekend and kind of go from there. So
from coming in at the last minute to leaving in the middle now.
I love you too, Bobby.
You know, hey, you give me as much as you get. So,
absolutely.
You know,
but I
was thinking, you made the comment on my video when I was asking people that ordered my lure on Amazon to please leave a review.
Yeah.
And you said, well, when I catch something with it, I'll leave a review. And I was thinking in my head, well, first you got to order the damn stuff, Mike, before you
say. Actually, I've been meaning to call you because I need to. Okay, so all smartass stuff aside here. Night, Larry Moore. I want to get some of the Apis and some of your swarm lure. So where do you send us to do that?
I don't know. This place called www.bewares.co.
Okay. Bewares, no kidding.
Bewares.
Okay. I will look at that right now.
There you go. I just dropped the link in the main.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I could have just asked you to do that.
And or there's another way to find it. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can make on your header on YouTube. Mine's got a hyperlink in it, so you can click it. If you go to my channel on the top, my new one, there's a hyperlink. You can click it. It'll take you right to the website.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I've got your Bewares up here right now.
So it doesn't have a lot of items in there, but it does have.
Oh, so what?
The stuff, it's got the stuff, the good stuff.
Yeah. Really cool. Oh, and you've got the Cerasul. Say, are you out of those test bottles, the Cerasul ones?
I think I've got 8 left in stock right now.
Okay.
These beauties right here. See if my inventory is accurate on the website. I don't know what it says. I have 8, but I don't. I've got 4. I've got 4 left. I don't know why. Does it say 8?
I didn't catch that.
Oh no, that's what I've sold. So yeah, that means I have 4 left. Yep. So
Oh, goodness, we have somebody watching from the Philippines. VCJN Games and Music.
Well, hey,
Very nice.
welcome from the Philippines.
Yeah. Wonderful. I just saw an article, was it last week or week before, about some stewardess that was busted smuggling onions into the Philippines. She was bringing in 30 pounds of onions. It's like, why the heck would you do that? And the way a friend of mine explained to me that onions don't really like to grow in the Philippines. I don't know whether that's true or not, but But yeah, first time watching your live stream. Wonderful. Glad to have you and everybody else.
Let me see. I'm still trying to find that link for you
For
the
Carousel, the rounds.
Yeah, I know you can. Oh, you know what? Who's got them? I don't know. Dude. Better Be might have them. But I've never bought them. Let me see.
Oh my gosh. Well, Charlie, did you go and get more pretzels?
No, I had, there was about 10 cop cars go flying up through here, one behind each other. I don't know what's going on. And then I got something to drink. That was the biggest thing. Who was?
Oh, so he took off running then.
I don't know what's going on, but I mean they were everywhere.
Not for nothing, but Better Be's out of those test cups. But Bob's got them. Go figure.
Pretzels and peanut butter. Oh man, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So they don't.
Say, does anybody know where Paps is located? Sorry, Charlie.
What's located? What was it?
Paps. One of the viewers, Paps.
Decent live stream, some good talking points, and the stuff Mike says. That's what drives.
Well, you have to remember that's coming from a hockey player who actually has his IQ on the back of a jersey. So, oh, Michigan.
He's a Michigander.
Oh man, I wonder if he's up in the UP. They get snow. Oh gosh, that's crazy crap up there. You don't have a snowblower. You just kind of like get a front end loader to your house.
So I know Blythewood Bee Company sells those Saracel kits. I don't know what their shipping is like, but they do sell them there. Trying to think who else. You know who else has them? Probably Dancing Bee. Let's see. Equipment.
Terry loves the show. Matt, this is well water from the well that I hand pounded in. So I'll show you guys something before I leave here. We made some corn mash bourbon, and I actually put some of my ghost pepper honey in it, and a hunk of charred cherry. So let that sit for about 6 months, and I don't. Okay, what do you want? You want to go outside? That's the grandma rescue cat. She's got to come down from her perch up in the loft. Gonna go and make an entrance here. Yeah, no, trying to drink my. I'll get you some more water. Well, you guys have a grand night, and God bless. And Charlie, you got a chat going on tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah. Yep.
Any particular agenda going on?
No, not really. Just normal chat. And then Saturday we have our Maryland State beekeepers.
Oh, you do?
Thing going on. So Michael Palmer is supposed to zoom in on that.
Wonderful.
And then there's another guy from Pennsylvania. He does single brew chamber management. So we'll see.
Oh
he's gonna have a book about it. Hopefully he's got it wrote by now. Last time I talked to him, maybe I'll have him come on and interview him or something.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, so everybody's watching in the audience here. Hopefully see you at Charlie's chat tomorrow.
Yeah, the Rooster's here.
Yeah, so I wonder what drive-through he's going in, Randy. Okay, guys.
All right, we'll talk
Good
to you
night,
later.
Mike.
God bless. Bye-bye.
We haven't had a Randy on the live sighting.
See you later.
Randy's giving his haze to everybody. Oh, I mailed your package out, Randy. You should be getting it soon, hopefully. But you know it's postal service, so it's suspect sometimes.
Extremely.
So,
We still waiting on a check from them jokers. Literally, a check in the mail from the post office. Waiting on it for
6 months now.
yeah.
Longer than that.
6 months?
No, it's longer than that. We put in for the little refund deal in like July and still hadn't got the check on it.
Oh, for the you talking about the stimulus money or whatever? Or
No. Tried to send Earl one of our queen bees we raised
right.
and paid them to supposedly overnight the bee to him or whatever. And they lost it somewhere, I think in Atlanta. And he still ain't got the bee, and we ain't got the insurance money to replace the bee. So everything's just waiting on the post office in the mail.
They told us check in the mail.
Next time you do it, insure it for like what's $100 or something, like twice as much as it's worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because if they lose it, they should have to pay the premium for it. For
It's about a $50 check. I think they were supposed to
we
send
had
to.
gotten $50 insurance because they like when I put in for the refund, they made me upload them an invoice showing what we paid for the bee or whatever, but we didn't buy the bee, we raised it.
Right.
But I just give them an invoice on who we would normally buy one from if we were going to buy it, but they still hadn't sent nothing.
You see that? You see that?
Jamie just said you're going to be waiting a while on the post office, and she's right.
Hopefully Mike's still watching. It's Mr. Ed 2 Dirt Rooster 0. Why? Super sauce.
Super sauce.
That's what happened. You're gonna owe him some Taco Bell this year. Well, Randy anteed up though. Randy's got some coming, so about to get real. Hopefully. Come on, Randy, hit the link, man. It's pinned to the top. I know you're just in Arby's or somewhere anyway.
Yeah, I'm sitting there waiting on him. He ain't got here yet.
He might sometimes he comes in, sometimes he just hangs in the chat. You should see the craziness he sends me in the chat. Some bean juice. No Taco Hell, please. You didn't see when we did the interview how Mr. Ed was like, well, sometimes you just got to let him win. It's been so long since he's won. I got to let him win every now and again. So otherwise he'll quit because he's just getting beat so much. Yeah. Brandy said Mr. Ed puts those bees in there and then makes his video.
Yeah.
Oh, here he goes. Here he is. Well, there he is in the shadows. The shadow knows. Oh,
hello.
He'll be back.
He left again.
He's not on that McDonald's free Wi-Fi. Man, we still got 104 people watching. Yeah, he'll be back.
Where'd Charlie go again?
Probably get another drink to wash down them salty pretzels he's eating.
Or he's going to see what's going on with the neighbors and the cops over there.
He took off and went to Taco Bell since we started talking about Taco Bell. He's like, yo quiero Taco Bell. On the way to the gym after McDonald's drive-thru. I was on the way to the gym and I stopped by the Taco Bell.
They're going to make that big man mad.
Huh? Oh,
I said, yeah, make that man mad.
No. I don't think you could make him mad. Well, you probably
we've seen how big this dude is. That's a tower of a man.
He's bigger. Yeah, he's a big old fella. He's a big old boy. For sure. Nicest guy though. Real
yeah, he's got a heart that big too.
Oh yeah.
He helped us out a lot when we first started because we bought our very first hive from him when we
Oh, you
first
bought it
started.
from the Dirt Rooster?
Yeah,
We
but-
bought a new.
But let us make this clear. You know, Alabama, Mississippi, or I know there's all the other states and all that. You can't cross state lines. I don't want no confusion, so
Yeah.
nobody gets in trouble. But yes, the very first hive we did buy from him, we drove from Alabama to Mississippi. But those bees went to two counties above him in Greene County, Mississippi.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So they didn't cross the state line.
Didn't cross state
Mhm.
lines. No, they went to Greene County, Mississippi up there.
You fall off McDonald's Wi-Fi?
This connection's worse than it was last time. I didn't shut my phone down and restarted it to try to get on here. I got to do it again.
How's
Man.
Mama? Actually,
They went out again.
he seemed fine to me that time. His mama's not been feeling well and been in the hospital, so hopefully she's doing better. So maybe I could show you what not to do. Where are you located? Mike, who you talking? Michael, who you talking to? Take 3. Yep. McDonald's Wi-Fi not holding up.
Man, it's a bad connection on my end. I know y'all can probably hear me.
Oh,
The
you're
only reason I came on is I had to defend myself against Mr. Ed. Let me turn some lights on. Mr. Ed's got 2 swarms, but he ain't done no
I
cutouts.
see.
And I've already got 2 cutouts this year. So, you know, he's swarm trapping on that same old house that he catches 1 million swarms at every year. So, I don't know if it was a swarm lure or just luck of the draw.
well. Either way, it works in my favor. So I'm going to say it's a swarm lure.
Yeah, it does. But I got a real bad connection on my end. So I'm going to try one more time. If I don't get through, and then I'm just going to listen in.
All right, man. That's funny. Mobile, Pascagoula, and Biloxi all run together over the swamps. You could always John boat it. You could John boat it from Alabama to Mississippi and then take the bees on the boat back through the swamp. Nobody would ever say it'd be the wiser. Man, you look well. You look as good as you can look.
Yeah, you're on your end. It's probably, I mean, on my end, that's all I can hear. I can tell what you're saying, but it's bad.
Well, how's your mama? That's the most important thing.
She's on a heart monitor and some new blood pressure medicine, but she's home tonight, so she's they got her blood pressure down and she seems okay.
I'm on a heart monitor too.
Yeah, you told
right
me
now. So
told me you're gonna go on one.
So
yeah, she seems okay, but she did fall and bust her head on her nightstand and knocked herself out for a little bit. And so they did CAT scans and all that kind of stuff, and she seems okay otherwise.
Okay, well, I'm glad she's back home and doing well.
Well, I'm gonna jump out of here and just listen to y'all. I'm headed to the gym, and y'all have a good evening.
You can't go from Arby's to the gym. It don't work that way.
There wasn't no Arby's tonight. There was stir fry and out of a pack from Walmart.
Oh,
Well, hey, I guess it has vegetables in it, so I guess it could count as healthy for a minute.
Yeah. Who else in here? Joey's in here, and Dry Cut is
Yeah, Dry Cut's in the chat.
Charlie and Gunline.
Yep.
All right. Hey, everybody.
hello.
Well, hey, man, do your thing. Get your steps in and stay healthy.
Yeah, I ain't getting no steps in. I'm going to lift. I pick things up and I put them down. You know that.
Well, you got a whole yard of things you could be picking up and putting down. Bee boxes. Do 1,000 reps of 70 pounds.
That stuff don't weigh enough. All right. Well, y'all have a good evening.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
see ya.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah, you see, that's what William says. Ed puts traps in locations where he's done removals in the past. That's not cheating. That's good strategy.
Mhm.
It's a competition. Play to win.
That's
What is it Ricky Bobby says? If you ain't first, you're last. Look, Charlie doze off on us.
No, I was looking to see what's going on. I got a phone call, one of them robocalls, something about I don't know whether it's an active shooter or what's going on.
I'm missing something. I'm catching half of a conversation here. Let me see. So Michael, he might have. Let me go back and see here.
your extended one. Yeah.
Maybe I could show you what not to do. Where are you located? Oh, okay. So he's talking to Larimore. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, there's James.
James is in the chat. Well, good evening, Mr. McNally. We don't have any international representation other than the maple leaf behind Tim's head right now. I came up with a plan, and if I can find someone to make it, I might have to go to China to figure it out. But how hysterical would that be? We've been all over the place, mostly about single brood chamber management. And it's no mite talk Thursday. So we're not talking about any mite treatments or killing mites or anything to do with varroa mites other than me mentioning varroa mites right now, because we're all burnt out on treating varroa mites. The
More spring management, feeding and
getting ready for the show.
pollen patties and that kind of stuff.
Praise God.
So hey James, what I thought about doing is finding someone to make me I might have to get Terry. Maybe Terry's the guy I need to talk to at Guardian Bee Apparel to have it specifically made and designed. I'm thinking about getting bee jackets that look like Canadian Mounties. That the colors are they're red with the sash across it, and the top of the hat is gonna be like a Mountie hat, and then make one for you, Ian, and Brad. I think that would be a great thing. James has a great sense of humor, so he probably is laughing in the back. But I did get my Canadian 7/8 inch deep boxes in. We can rock anything. You hear that? No me tonight, guys. It's been a good day. I'm just in a good mood today. I'm feeling better than I have been. This is now the third or fourth day I've been on this new medication, so it took me a minute to adjust to it. So they've got me on Lipitor and what's the other one? It's like a Imdur. It's like a slow release nitroglycerin thing. So that's what it's been. But today's been a good day. I mean, I can't complain. Sometimes you gotta. Oh, here we go.
What, you have a bad heart, Bob, or what?
Yeah, I've got a 50% blockage in one of my arteries, and that was 50% 2 years ago. James, where's your video, bro? Well, we got James when his video feed is allowed to come across the Canadian border. It will come in.
Go through customs.
He's going through customs right now. He should join us in just a second. And on top of that, as far as the business end of things, that's actually what's the best part of today. I mean, this week I've probably sold close to 200 bottles of Swarm Lure. So Yeah, I mean, but it's wholesale, right? So it's not the it's not like retail bottles, but I mean, it's for me, it's more getting
Yeah,
the product out.
but look what you've done. You've went and created a product, and now you've got multiple outlets selling your product,
Yep.
and now you're starting to actually ship your wholesale product. So I mean, you've done quite well in a very short amount of time, I think.
And Dancing Bee, I talked to them today, and they said within the next 2 weeks they should be placing their order, which could be sizable. I don't know. I mean, it's speculation right now, but they feed. They're kind of like the Man Lake of Canada, right? So they feed 70 different stores in Canada, so that could be a good thing. But hey, I'm just blessed to have the opportunity. It's every little bit helps, and if that can hopefully start something to where maybe I can open a small store or something like that, then great. That's and hopefully if I do, even to give you an example, guys, it's not a huge thing, and I'm going to pick on Better Be here just because they happen to be on my screen right now. So let's present this, and they might get mad if they watch this, but they probably don't watch my stream, so I don't really care that much about it. Let's see.
Leave a review.
Leave a review. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, so this is the hold on, I'll bring it. So this is the Saracel cup, right? The same one that I sell, that I have a few of. They're a couple dollars higher than me, so if I could save you a couple bucks and make a couple bucks, then I think it's better for everyone. We'll see how it happens. And save a few dollars on a lot of stuff, then it works out. That's kind of the goal.
There he is.
I got across the border.
The
For a while, I thought maybe your facial recognition software finally started to work.
It's the Chinese spy satellite that got you. The spy balloon, right?
Look what came in today.
Oh, yeah. See, you're gonna ruin. We were just talking about those. So, okay. So here's the other thing you'll get here: that if something is, if there's a better way or something different. Okay. So everybody has heard about these Saracel cups. Oh, you bought one?
No,
or you're gonna make one.
I'm going to make one.
That's the same kit, the same.
It's the same box, but I paid $8 for this.
Yeah, but then I mean, yeah, it'll be cheaper for you definitely if you're building it.
And I got the pads, and I got the foam insert. So everything all said and together is about $30 Canadian or 89 cents American.
Yeah, you're making me sick now. I paid $200 for mine. Was it 168 or $200 or something like that for it?
It was $200.
So this thing here, you got yours handy, James? So
I took all the stickers off of it,
but if you open it up, do you got the basket in it? I got to take this stuff out of it. But it's the same thing. And when I say the same thing, I mean literally the same thing, because we did some research on, well, what is this exactly? And it turns out, since we're money savers here, that these are pickle savers at the store. So they're used that you put your jar of pickles in there, and the juice goes in the side, so you can use the basket to pull your pickles out. And you can buy them at Walmart, at I don't know, you got yours at Amazon or somewhere probably?
I got mine on Amazon. Yeah, I think I paid, I'd have to go back and take a look. I think I paid like $6 or something like that for them.
Yes, so name brand, same thing. And don't ask me how don't ask me how I got the tip off on that, because who knew, right? Famous beekeeper started talking about this one, and I started talking to somebody else, and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, it's just very similar. That's got 4 tabs. This one's only got 3 on it, but it's got the gasket in it to keep it from leaking."
Yeah, so I went with they had 2 different sizes. I went with the smaller of the 2.
This is 700 ml.
Oh yeah, I ripped all the stickers off this thing. What is this? It's Rock and Lock. I don't know if you can I don't know if you can see that. I wonder if I can put something behind it here. Yeah, it probably makes it worse.
But but yeah, it's a 700 ml pickle jar. Same thing. And I had someone,
this is 700 mils, 24 ounces, so the same size.
Same size. So that's the thing that you can find if you know what you're looking for, which nobody did until someone tipped me off on what it was and the brand that it's a common brand of like Tupperware in the country that Saracel is from, and that's what they use. So
actually, these are made in the USA.
These are
made in the US. Yeah.
So that's a less expensive way to get the same result. So thanks, James. Now I can't sell my other 4 I've got sitting over here. I'm stuck. I'm hung on inventory.
Actually, I don't have a measuring cup. I think yours comes with a measuring cup, correct?
Yeah, it does.
So mine don't have a measuring cup and stuff like that in there. And I think if you take a look, I think the basket on yours sits up a little bit.
Yep.
So the basket on these ones.
No, actually, it doesn't.
Okay. I was gonna say the basket on these ones, and that's one of the things that I was looking at, goes right to the bottom. So it's the only thing I wasn't too sure about. But there is, if you turn it upside down, there is a little bit of gap there then. So I'm thinking if I was to just put something on the bottom to hold that up a little bit, that might, allow the mites to fall through the basket.
You know what? Just take you a hot glue gun and put a dollop of hot glue under there and let it harden. And that would probably be just enough.
There you go.
So
sorry to ruin your sales, Bob.
Damn it. Now I gotta import some other pickle jar.
But yeah, I got all the parts and pieces, so I'll be doing a video on making one of those queen cell carriers. So if anybody wants,
now you'll be selling queen cell carriers, and I'll be importing from you to resell them.
No, actually, I'm not going to make them. I'm making more than enough, so I am falling way behind on what I need to get done this year. So the wax dipping tank is coming right along, and that one I might take a look at possibly retailing some of those. So, and the only reason I say I might look at doing that is they're turning out really well, and they're surprisingly inexpensive compared to some of the commercial ones that are out there. So any time or any chance I can maybe save some fellow beekeepers some money, why not, right?
How many boxes will it hold, James?
So it will hold, what is it? So I've built it to do my pallets as well. So it will hold 3 boxes or 4 pallets. Now, if you want to, so the boxes, if you turn them up, stand them on end, it'll hold 3. If you lay them down, it'll only hold the 2. But because I use the 2-way pallets, I needed it big enough for it to fit the pallets as well. So,
but you're talking 3 deeps, maybe 4 mediums.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking 3 deeps. Can you make me a nice stand for grafting? I do have an order of stands. Actually, I dropped off almost 3.5 sheets of plywood, all ripped up to the laser engraver today. So I'm hoping to get those grafting tables done and sent out. But yeah, if anybody wants a grafting table, drop me a line. Take a look. I've just finished, like I said, making up this last order. The orders going on here probably won't get finished, however, until after I get my woodwork done that I need to get my bees out of the barn. So probably next week I'm going to start turning up the temperature on my drone colony. It's that time of year, so we get to play with bees again.
Yeah, I talked to Curtis this afternoon.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So I was a man of my word. I told you I'd call him. I called him. So,
Perfect.
So we'll see how that goes too. So yeah,
I figured you did because he called me afterwards and he asked me what I thought of your swarm lure.
And you said, "Hell, I don't know."
No, I told him. I as you know, I'm pretty transparent. I says I've got some. I says I haven't used it yet, but I did tell him to check out Mr. Ed's channel. So he was having good results with it. So,
and we'll see how it goes. But it's going pretty good. I mean, I actually think it's going better than I had anticipated as far as reception. And Hive Life had a lot to do with that because I was able to talk to a lot of people there.
Perfect.
So good thing. Hey Larry, we're talking about single brood chamber management. Larry just checked in. So
You're gonna say that in your sleep.
Oh, I say every time I see Charlie and we talk about topics.
So Gunline Bees, that's somebody I haven't met before. Whereabouts are you located?
We're just outside of Mobile, Alabama.
Excellent.
And that's right next to Greenbow, Alabama. No, I don't know if it's, but everybody knows Greenbow because of Forrest Gump, right? So
we are close to Bayou La Battery, where Bubba and Forrest was, so we ain't far from it.
Got it. Excellent. How many hives do you run in?
We're down to 6.
Yes, we're down to 6 now. Coming into the fall at 11, and at our highest point in the summer, we was about 18. But the hive beetles give us fits this past year.
Got her.
That's the bane of our existence down here.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is, especially after talking to James, and James gave me the to use a hockey analogy, the body check, right? So up against the glass, he's like, "You big dummy, you're making your splits too weak," and that has a lot to do with it, right? Because when I'm splitting, I'm not giving them enough time to grow strong enough so when the hive beetles come, that they can really defend it going into wintertime. And so that's why if you notice, I don't know if it's the same way for you, Tim, but the colonies that died were my weakest colonies, except for the one. But I think I know what that problem was. But most of my weaker ones are the ones that really the hive beetles aggravated them to the point of being decimated. But my stronger colonies, there'll be beetles in there, but they're able to just keep it rocking. And that's one thing, like James and I were talking earlier today. I said, we were talking about goals. I said, I need to put a number on it, right? And he's like, no, you don't need to put a number on it. You need to split the bees when it's time to split them and make good splits and not weak splits just to have numbers of colonies.
Exactly.
So
for me, it would be a visual thing. And I would say when you got bees in a box and you can't even see the frames, that's a good strong hive.
Exactly. That's you're hitting the nail right on the head, Charlie. That's what I was trying to say.
So, when you look down on the frames, there's so many bees on top of the frames. All you see is bees, a sea of bees. there you got yourself a strong hive. Now you've got something that you
Work
pull
with.
out a small amount. Don't pull out half of it. You know,
Well, you got
don't
you're
don't
absolutely
weaken
right.
them.
You need to protect that mother colony. You know,
Right.
you don't kill that colony to make another one. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, I was talking to Tim here, which is Gunline. And we were talking. He wanted to know more about it, and he said he had like 3 frames of cap brood. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe that's a little bit. There's open brood, but I would like to have more in there before I would pull some.
I would agree with that analogy. So I don't know, Tim, if you follow my channel at all. My goal last year was to grow from 15 hives to 25 hives, but I wasn't concerned with the number. When the bees were strong enough, I split them. If they got strong enough again, I split them. If they got strong enough again, I'd split them. But there was a couple things I always kept in mind as I did that. And one was the timing, time of the year. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to make a split, I made a split with enough time to for that colony to grow to where it needed to be for winter. I looked at where I was in the flow. I looked at where I was with the mating flights for the queens, and I ended up putting 78 hives into the barn at the end of the year. So it is possible, and you can do it if all the conditions and everything like that are right. But the real big key is that proper husbandry. You need those frames of bees. You need that colony strength in order to make that split, so that they are a viable colony after the split. So just kind of that's what I did last year. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but you can't split a hive if the resources aren't there to split. What you end up doing is you end up breaking it down just far too small, and they have to struggle too hard. It puts too much stress on the colony, and as a result, the colony will likely die. So,
noticing on ours, like the other day, then we'll go back to the previous year when we got into them. Just I guess doing our first big inspection, if you will, coming into the new year, we noticed, our weather had warmed up quite a bit, and when we was pulling some frames, we seen hive beetles in there already. And I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking really what happened on our end last year is, you have that little lull before the flow really starts hitting, and your bees are low numbers.
Yep.
Well, we didn't get into them last year until we started seeing a couple swarms come off our hives about early to mid-March. Then we started getting into them. Well, as we was getting into them, brother, we have a terrible, terrible problem with beetles. And thinking what it was, we're coming out of that lull. The bees are trying to grow, but yet they're low and weak. And hive beetles are firing off. It's time for them to start getting going. And I'm really believing that's kind of where we was last year, is we didn't get in them early enough when we should. Hive beetles got us while the numbers were low. Then whenever we started running on that peppermint, man, it was game on. We was golden after that. As long as we stayed with that peppermint through the year, I mean, the bees done well. But if we miss so much as a week of not putting that peppermint in there,
the hive beetles were bad.
They'll slime them out in a heartbeat down here.
Let me ask you this. I mean, I used to hear like the Fat Bee Man, and he talked about swapping your frames from one box to the other, because you'd had that like pepper dust down in the bottom, which is actually the beetle larvae, I believe it is. And he would clean, swap boxes out to get rid of those eggs and stuff. I think it was for beetles. I don't know. Have you ever tried anything like that, or have seen what he was talking about on his videos?
Suck it all over.
No, so the closest thing that we've done, like we changed out a bottom board the other day on one,
Mhm.
and whenever we pulled that bottom board off, there were several beetles in the bottom, but yet there was already larvae
In the bottom.
in the bottom. They was amongst the wax cappings and everything else down in there. And
Mm.
but the only thing I guess really drastic measure we've taken as far as trying to combat them outside that peppermint is us building that little, we call it the little beetle vac. We just took a small car vacuum. You can put a smaller piece of diameter hose on it, and if you go back and watch some of our videos, you can see as soon as we pop the lids or slats on the horizontal hives, or any of them,
Beetles everywhere.
yeah, they just go running all over the place. So
Mm.
that's why we made the beetle vac. So as soon as we pop the lid, we can just start
Suck them up.
sucking them up in that.
Yeah, because they will put soapy water in the vacuum, so it just kills them as we suck them up.
Right.
Yes, I mean it may sound crazy, but it don't take long.
I have. I'll be honest. I have zero experience with beetles. We don't have them up here. It's something I've never had to.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Never had to fight, but I do have. I do have an idea. I don't know if any of you are very handy at woodworking. So from what I understand, you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but a beetle has a hard time making a corner if the material they're trying to go around is too thin or that corner is too sharp. Is that correct?
That's
I'm not sure on that. The only thing I know of, they ain't supposed to be able to hover.
Right. So I guess what I was trying to imagine here is, I know a lot of people will use those beetle traps, the oil traps. I'm curious if anybody's tried to put one of those at or near the entrance of the hive, or just inside the entrance of the hive, so it wouldn't get completely filled up with water. Evening, sweetheart. And then on the inside, if you were to put a thin piece of metal around the entryway so that the beetle couldn't make that turn around that little piece of sheet metal, they'd be forced to try to enter the hive across that oil trap. That may greatly reduce the number of beetles that you get into a hive, because my understanding is that's where most of them enter. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just food for thought. I mean, I'm always trying to think how we could possibly solve a problem, but I don't know if like I said, I don't know if anybody's very good with woodworking or something, but I really would be interested to see how that would work.
I mean,
The hive you having all that trouble in, is it a long hive?
Is it a horizontal hive?
It's
or is
all
it
up.
Oh, okay.
It's both of them.
So
I mean, like we say, you can't. It'll literally be, if you skip just a few days, you can go into every one of them hives and clean out all the beetles. Go back 3 days, and I can guarantee you they'll have several beetles back in there. I mean, they're just, it's ridiculous.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me just kind of tell you what I do. Now, it's not necessarily going to get rid of all the beetles, but in the long run, it does kind of help. I don't hardly use anything in my hive anymore. I used to use the oil traps, what they call them, the beetle busters or something like that. I still have some and use them on smaller nukes if they need it. I use it. And I also used to use the Swiffer claws. You ever tried those?
Yes, we tried those.
Yeah, but I don't hardly use them, but I did use them for a couple of years. But what I do for prevention, I use roll roofing under the bottom of my hives. Almost every one I got has roll roofing under it, and the stand and everything is on top of that. And about 3 to 4 times a year, I put rock salt or just regular swimming pool salt in under my hives. It kind of helps kill the grass Now, does it do anything for the beetles? I don't know, but it makes me feel better. But they claim that if you keep enough salt down there, that the larvae, when it goes in the ground, it kills it.
Well,
But,
that'll
so
break the cycle. But my thought
Yeah.
was, by the time that they've done that, they've already destroyed the colony because they've laid the larva in the hive and slimed it out, right?
That's why I say it's a long-term thing. It's more of a prevention than trying to get rid of what's in the hive already. So I tell you how bad hive beetles are here where I live. When I catch I don't know if anybody here watches my videos, but when I catch a swarm in one of my swarm boxes in a good summertime, I can guarantee you that I'm going to have 40 hive beetles in that box. I have killed 40 or more almost in every box. When I dump the bees in the box after I move the frames, there's about 40. They got them all pushed up in the corners in the bottom. That's how bad they are here. So I just quit trying to fight them inside the hive, and I just do something to keep them year round. They disappeared.
He's coming back. Their phone might have been dying.
Oh, there he is. I don't know. Like I said, I just I've never had to deal with them. So I mean, if that's salt, that would be easier than making woodwork. That's for sure, Joseph. But like I said, just all I know is what I've read up on, and basically what you guys have told me. But I really am kind of surprised that nobody has tried to put an oil trap or anything like that at the entrance of the hive to try and address these things right where they're entering the hive. That would make sense to me, but maybe it has been tried and maybe it just doesn't work. I don't know.
Well, I know a little bit's honey, Joe May. He drills out basically a feeder hole like you'd put on a lid in the bottom, and he hangs a mason jar underneath it with a screen on it. And I think he puts diatomaceous earth in the jar, so when the bees corral them and they fall down in there, they die. But I wish they would just come up with something that would just stop them from coming in. That's the thing.
Well,
I mean,
and that's where I'm thinking maybe that oil trap right at the entrance might work. I don't know. I can't even buy. I don't
know why that would stop them. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to walk on you.
Oh no, all good. And I can't even buy an oil trap up here to try and make one to show what I'm thinking, right? They would have to fly over it in order to get into the hive. Joseph, is what I was thinking. If they were to walk over it, they're going to walk right over and then fall into the oil, and of course that would be the end of them. But
that makes sense,
you know. And to make sure that they don't go in the top or the side, that's where that little piece of a sheet metal or something like that, where they wouldn't be able to get around the corner, because my understanding is they have a hard time with that. They try to go around that corner, they're going to fall back down. Around that corner, they're going to fall back down. So we would basically just leave the oil trap left at the entrance. So,
yeah. But I've always heard what you're talking about, that they can't go around those sharp corners.
Yep.
But they can fly.
Well, that's what I said. They would have to fly over. Once they hit the hive, they probably don't fly. Once they hit the hive, I don't think they fly around inside the hive. They'd probably fly to the entrance, and then once they got there, they wouldn't. They probably wouldn't fly past that. I don't know. Once again, I have no idea. I have no experience, but that's one of the things that I was just thinking of, that maybe if somebody was willing to try it, it might be a lifesaver. It might be a complete flop. I don't know.
Well, you could even take you could just slot out your bottom board and make a strip and put hardware cloth over it, and then make a little box that hangs underneath it that you can bring down or something, and put diatomaceous earth in there. So if they walk through there, and they're going to have to fall into something similar, and it's dry and not liquid then.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I understand the diatomaceous earth will kill the larva. The larva can't get in there, but the diatomaceous earth isn't going to kill the adult or the mature beetle. Is that correct?
I'm not sure on that one.
From what I've read,
It dries the beetle up too.
But if the beetle was there, as long as the beetle could crawl back out, this is where I was thinking the oil trap. Because once the beetle's in the oil trap, he'll be done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the oil works and the diatomaceous earth works because it for some reason it dries them out real quick.
okay,
I don't know why. Hope said something about the Perithium drench. That works too.
For me, yes, we done our first run last night.
Yeah.
You don't have them where you're at, Shirley?
I had one nuke out there. I seen on where I seen 3 adults on the drop board, but other than that, no, I don't. And now what I do is like what Joseph said there, I put carpet down underneath my hives to keep the grass down and also help from the larvae from being pupating into the ground. Most of my nukes are all on blacktop. I don't have too much of a problem there.
He's got
we're kind of a clay ground, so it's not, easy for it to bore into.
Yeah,
if it's a really super weak hive, yeah, you'll get some beetles in there. But if it's a good strong hive, you don't have. If I see 3 beetles, if I see a beetle really in any of my hives, it's like something to look at, Yep. And now I have had some hives at other locations where they were dying, the hive was dying out. Then we started to see nothing like you guys down south. I might see a dozen beetles, which is a lot. So, well, it's getting close to 11 for me. I'm going to check out.
Have a good night, Shirley.
And all that. So we'll see y'all later.
Have a good night.
We'll see you tomorrow night at 8:00 Eastern Standard.
We will be there.
All right.
The only reason I was thinking of something like that is, anybody that has hive beetles probably has access to the oil traps. And if there was some easy way to modify your bottom board right at the entrance, I was just thinking it would be something that everybody would have access to. And as far as a little piece of metal, well, whether you used, an old piece of siding or a little piece of tin foil or hell, even straighten out a soup can if you had to, right? Just something that everybody had access to. That's all I was thinking.
Well,
the best result we had. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just saying I'll give it a try. I don't have any problems doing it.
Well, thinking on your idea, James, if anything, you was talking about taking one of them oil traps, and if you got, like you say, any kind of carpentry skills about you, just simple basic skills.
Exactly.
Take one of your bottom boards and rivet it, cut you a hole out, and just slide that trap right there at that entrance where they fall right in.
Exactly. And then, just put something around there so that beetle can't get around that corner. It's worth a try. What's
in the chat? Entrance trap universal, adapts to any hive.
I haven't seen. I didn't see that.
But all in all, the peppermint candy is what really saved us in the end. Because whenever we stayed,
if you got something that works, stick with it, right? Absolutely. It's got to be. It's got to be simple. It has to work, right?
It went from seeing several dozen to staying consistent. You may have seen 2 or 3.
There you go.
But the thing was staying consistent every single week, having them peppermints in there for them bees to store and do whatever else they done with it. But that was the huge relief after that is, where we finally got some relief for us, the beetles. But
I've also
got to stay on it.
People that have modified instead of having, I see people talking about doing away with landing boards. I've seen where people have bottom entrances for the bees to come out and go in, but the beetles can't hover, so they would have to land upside down or somehow crawl upside down to get around the corner, and that might be difficult.
See what you're showing here is kind of the same idea as what I was thinking. I didn't even know they'd made such a thing.
It's just an add-on, right?
I mean, I don't know what a beetle trap is. Probably an oil trap, a couple bucks. Versus and a little bit of carpentry skills, and you might be able to do the exact same thing and save yourself. What is that? $35 US.
Yep.
That adds up in a big hurry, right? Where like I say, for a couple dollars and then 20, I was gonna say a couple dollars and really 5 minutes with a jigsaw and a pair of snips, you might be able to do the same thing. So,
But they got hive weights. And there's
just
the other type
just
of
the
hive.
food once again, it's a little bit of thought. Once again, just so that I don't know how many people are watching, but I have zero experience with hive beetles, but I have read up on them. I have found them a little bit interesting. I'm very happy I don't have them, but once again, I mean, I just so that everybody knows, I have zero experience with beetles. So, I got a little bit. I killed a bunch of the beetles in the bug farmer's hives when I was down there playing in his hive. I smashed a bunch of them then.
So not for nothing, I met these people at Hive Life, and they're also going to be carrying my swarm lure, but it's white labeled. So it's going to have their logo for their swarm trap on their swarm trooper. So
that's kind of.
But it's going to be in this bottle. It's going to be my lure. It's just going to have their label on it. So it just was coincidental that this was the product we were talking about tonight. So let me see what they got here. Screen. And they're in South Carolina as well. So there you go. There's a half cup bees shaker. Anyway, that's that. James, you taking it easy tonight or what? You're not out in the shop tonight.
No, I should be, but did a bunch of book work, did a bunch of paperwork, got all of my cut links and everything all ready there for tomorrow. So Alan's going to come by, I think tomorrow, give me a hand, and we're going to have a blitz this weekend and see if I can't make up another 100 I guess 50, make up another 50 pallets so that I'm ready for another 100 hives this year.
So you haven't started on your frames yet?
I haven't started on the frames yet. No. Actually, what I did do tonight is I did bottle a whole pile more of honey though, so I can go still restock my shelves and stuff like that tomorrow.
I was a little disappointed with Better Bee on those boxes. They're very nice boxes, but they came assembled, right? And they didn't glue them either.
Oh, that drives me nuts. That absolutely drives me nuts.
Beekeeping companies know they need to be glued. So they save a nickel's worth of glue on boxes and don't glue them. I guess
were they at least stapled and not brad nailed?
No, they were nailed with real nails.
Oh,
like
okay.
10-penny nails.
So I mean that's a little bit better. It drives me nuts. I mean, I glue everything. For the little bit of time, and I really like that that Type Bond 2, Type Bond 3 glue.
Right.
And, I glue absolutely everything. In fact, Alan gives me a hard time because when he was out there helping me a lot of times, he'd be gluing it and I'd be stapling things together, and we would go blitz in a couple hours in an evening. We would slam 60 boxes together.
Right.
And I'd keep giving him a hard time because get a little bit cheap on the glue. If the glue wasn't squeezing out and there wasn't enough glue in there, if that makes sense. But it sure makes a huge difference. Your boxes don't end up all twisting and basically what happens is they get full, especially when they're full of honey. If you set it down in the corner, now the box kind of tips, and of course as soon as it does that, your frames fall out, and it's just you want to get me frustrated in the bee yard. Don't glue your boxes.
Well, even frames, the glue holds better than staples and everything do.
I glue all my frames too. Yeah.
So
Everything gets glued. So
let me see more supposedly.
Well, gentlemen, we're gonna skin it.
Yeah, it's about 11 o'clock. I got one more day of work, and about 20 more live streams this weekend. It seems like.
No, I haven't got too many. I'll pop in Charlie's for a little bit there tomorrow night, but that'll be pretty much it. Other than that, I've really got to
Hunker down.
I got to buckle down. I got to get focused. I've got every time I start turning up the temperature on the drone colony, that's really my heads up. So I mean, turn the temperature up on them, I'll be grafting inside of a month, and my season will be getting going here pretty good. So it's it's game on. This season's about to explode for me. So
the today it was 79 degrees here Fahrenheit. So of course we're still getting that waiver, but it is definitely starting to inch up there, And
we're going the other way. So we had above 0 temperatures or freezing. So for everybody down there, right around 32. So we were above 32 here for the last week. But it's forecasted to start dropping. And I think we're supposed to be back down to, well, let me take a look here. I'll tell you exactly. And then I'm not guessing.
4 degrees C. That's what your bees are staying at.
Well, that's what they're at, but it's supposed to drop back down to minus 15, minus 14, minus 15 degrees Celsius here, this coming week. So I'm so happy that I have them in the bee barn this year, because I was talking to a couple beekeepers, and they're starting to lose colonies just simply because of the freeze and thaw cycle, right? So
right. They'll start burning through that food.
Yep. Yeah, my bees, they're still currently sitting there at 4 degrees.
Perfect.
And you can see the air conditioner is on there a little bit, so it's bringing the air temperature in at 2 degrees Celsius. So maintaining that 4 degrees, that's exactly where that system's really been working well.
I'll be curious to see how your losses played out with your with the strategy put into play this year.
Well, I know I've got 2 nukes that are gone, but I'm not going to blame that on my, well, we're not talking mites, but I'm not going to blame that on my cowboy mite treatment.
Right.
But I think that was just plain and simply, I did not prepare them well enough for the winter. So I knew that they were light going in. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. Everything froze. And even, like say, if you go back and you look at my video, I think when we put them into the shed, I think it was minus 14, minus 15 degrees Celsius. So I was really under the gun to get them in there.
Well, I'm curious. There's one specific reason. It's because you put that extra medium on there when Brad and them were like, you don't need to do that. So now I'm kind of in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there saying, I'm saying, well, let's see who has the best the rate of survival.
Yeah, I'm not even going to be in the running against Brad and Ian. They know far much more than I do. The added the medium super I put on top, and I had them plug it out. That literally, and I think Brad said it best, that allows me to sleep at night, because I absolutely know without a doubt that if those ones don't make it, it wasn't because they starved to death. I mean, they had ample food. So,
well, that's a good thing. But Spanky, if you didn't hear, I got the pig situation kind of figured out. The big pig went to a freezer camp, and the little pig got put back into the pen, And by the time we came back from freezer camp dropping off Porky, he already had escaped back again and was hanging around the yard. Now he's RUNNOFT somewhere. So it worked itself out. Not necessarily the reason the way we wanted it to, but it did work out. So, 200 plus pounds of pork will be good in the freezer in a couple weeks. So it's what it is. I mean, you're on a farm. That's what it's there for, right?
That's right.
So it just hurts when you dispatch something that has a name, right? Now you're killing a family member. So
Next one you get, call him Chop.
Chop. That's it. But I'm gonna have to cure my own bacon, so that's another little thing I'm gonna have to learn. So it'll be fun.
That's not hard. I do all my own. I cure all my own hams, all my own bacon. I strongly recommend a honey ham.
A honey cured ham, honey cured bacon. I need to find a good honey cured recipe. It's probably just honey and brown sugar, right?
No, there's a little bit more than that to it. I can send you one down if you want. What have you got for a smokehouse?
Smokehouse. I have a smoker and I have a grill.
What kind of smoker have you got?
What'd you say, Hannah?
I said you're gonna want a smokehouse for that much meat, not just
a
smoke.
Yeah, I don't have a smokehouse, so I have to figure out what to do as far as like my smoker is designed for like barbecue smoking, right? So it's just a small one.
That are a lot of salt for salt meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little salt, little fat back, little. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a new experience, but I don't have a smokehouse. No, not the big thing. So
yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time trying to do a ham in your little smoker.
Well, depends how big the ham is. I mean, I don't know. If they're going to give me a 50-pound ham, it might be a problem. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how. This is the first one I've ever called, so I don't know what I'm going to expect over there. One guy said, you might want to take 2 coolers, and then Matt was like, nah, I had a pig and a half. You only needed a cooler and several boxes. I was like, oh, okay.
Take 2.
Take 2 coolers?
Yeah, take 2.
Our weather is too hot to cure meat. So we're going to, I don't know. I've got sisters. They might appreciate some free meat as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, I usually do I was going to say I do at least 1, possibly 2 pigs a year. And all my own bacon, all my own sausage, all my own hams. And that way I know exactly what it is I'm eating.
Right. Well, I know what my pig ate. It ate everything. Spaghetti. It ate whatever leftovers and it ate good. Obviously, you could see a 300-pound hog. So
there's my camera. That's
live right now.
That's one I just snapped just while we were sitting here. So that's how my hives are busting at the seam yet.
They're clustering on the outside.
Well, they're I wouldn't say clustering, but they're definitely on the outside. What else? I'm trying to.
All right, y'all. We're gonna skin it. Y'all, we appreciate you, James, Joseph, Bob. Y'all take it easy.
Have a good night. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, have a good night. Good to meet you.
Good night, guys. Look at well, waste not, want not. Shouldn't name them. Just call them Pig 1 and Pig 2. I recommend a hot honey glaze if you want a little kick. My smoker can hold 2 or 3 turkeys. So, hey, that gives me a good reason to go buy a new smoker, right? Oh, a moose elk?
That's an elk, yeah. So.
Nice.
See,
we shot it, right?
Well, and exactly. You see whose it is, right?
Mrs. McNally's.
See, she shoots them in the bush.
That's the
I cheat. I shoot them in the field.
easier to drag out.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, the temperature. Yes, that's what I have. The temperature is the problem, so that's why I'm trying some poly hives out to see if that'll stop the bearding with the heat. And
that's at 4 degrees. They're sitting at 4 degrees. I was going to say they're not bearding, and you see they're not walking and running around. They are quite content there. That is a box of bees. So a lot of them that I have like that, that's exactly how they're sitting. They are sitting there because they are full.
And they're cooling. They're getting a little cool air for a minute before they go back in that hot cluster.
Yeah, like I said, it's not. They're not out there trying to cool. The temperature in that room is 4 degrees. I showed you that. They're just quite content. So the problem, if you had to pick a problem with those, it's the hive is full of bees.
James, what that rack score was?
Oh, I'm not sure on that one. That was actually quite a small one. So we're quite fortunate up here. We live right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. So and kind of at the base of the Rocky Mountains and right into the farmland. So I've got one. I haven't got it scored yet, but it's 7x7. It did without scoring. It hit the record book up here. We call it the Boone and Crockett. Let me see if I can. It's hanging on the garage, so I'll do a little bit of a show and tell here. And this one I actually took with my bow at about 15 yards.
He did like me, set his phone down.
Nope, I have to see how I got to turn my camera around here. Well, maybe I'll just do it this way. But to give you an idea why it scored so much, I can't even get around my hand around the base.
Wow, that's a big rack.
So
yeah,
first time I've ever said that not to a female.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So yeah, no, we got some really good hunting up here.
Yeah, that's you're making me want to make the trip more and more, James.
Yeah, like I said, come on up.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here.
All right, Jason, we'll see you later, buddy. Thanks for stopping in.
All right, glad to be here.
All right, so I guess it's tomorrow night at Charlie's place.
Yep. Well, like I said, I'll pop in there for a little bit.
Surprised Brad didn't pop in tonight.
He
might be busy in his wood shop or something.
I know he's in the same boat I am. We're
up against it now, right?
We're kind of up against the time. We're more work to do than time to do it. So
right. Well, I get that. I waited to the last minute, and now I'm like, man, I need to clean this place up. I need to get these boxes organized and all this other stuff. And it's like, now I feel like I'm time sensitive materials, right? And now, of course, on top of that, the now I'm starting to get swarm lure orders out the yang. So now I've got that to deal with.
Yep.
But those are good problems to have. So
well, as long as you can keep on top of it, that's the trick, right?
Yeah, so I try to, prioritize, right? I do the stuff in the yard. I come in, then I handle the bookwork for the swarm lure and the shipping so I can drop it off the next day. And then I do live streams if I have time. So that's how it works.
There you go. I should pick your brain one of these days to see how you do these live streams. And, I know a lot of people are asking if they can see what it's like inside my bee barn. And, I don't know whether, maybe we hijack one of your live streams one of these nights and we go up there and we can do that. But I just don't know how to do them, to be honest with you. So,
well, you've got the GoPro with the app, right?
Yep.
So you can stream through your GoPro to your YouTube that way, or you could do StreamYard on your phone if you've got, or your YouTube from your phone. But it is a little bit difficult because when you're doing it from your phone, the chat comes up and then it goes away, and it's not on there constantly. But yeah, for sure, we can do that. Anyway you want to do it, man, I'm willing to help.
Oh, what's that? Filament corner. Looking at those pallets. Yeah, those 3-frame pallets. So that's so I'll be building another 10 of them. That'll give me another 30 nukes this year. And the reason I've picked 30 is I'm just going from Ian's presentation at Hive Life, where he was saying, you know what, you want to have 30% in your battery. So that's I know I'll easily hit 100 hives. I think I had 4 of them from last year, you know, so that gives me an additional 12. So that'll give me about 42 nukes in my battery if I can fill them all. And that's kind of why I've chosen to build another 10. So I've got 10 of those, which will give me 30 nukes, and I want to build another 50 pallets, so that'll give me another 100 hives. So we'll
then
see.
You always have that hot queen available. If one dies all of a sudden and you don't have one, you just snatch her out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I got to do that tomorrow too. So I'm meeting with one of the local bee stores. Actually, you were talking to Curtis, so
Right.
I put horses down at his store. So I've got to do that tomorrow. I'll be going down, meeting with him, and securing some of the the beekeeping courses, the queen raising courses, and stuff like that for this year, and getting that out to once again, just to try to support the fellow beekeepers out there that have never done it and don't know. So that's coming up too. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy season. It's gonna be an exciting season. I'm looking forward to it. It's well, I'm fully committed now. Let's put it that way.
Right. That's me too. I'm it's game on, right? So that's the thing. So James, I'm gonna stop the live stream, but if you got just a minute afterwards in the VIP room.
Sure, you bet.
All right. So guys, we appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow on Charlie's channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Good night, everyone.